Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting nippy up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, lead the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, May 19th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Coming off our 7th straight winning show, 11th of our last 12, and looking to sweep the week, just like we did last week. Very exciting. And just like last week, they're not huge scores night in and night out. 5-2 yesterday, plus 2.8 units. We went 1-2 in MLB, 2-out home run in the top of the 5th against the White Sox by the Tribe. Cost us that first 5 minus a half, cost us winning day in MLB. Cost us cost us a 6 in one day. But we cashed both of our bets in NHL. First period under, full game under very easily. We cashed both of our bets in NBA. First half under, full game under very easily. And I feel good. I feel locked in. I can't wait for tomorrow. One of the great things about the family here is they respect the work that needs to go into capping. And yesterday was all day, all night. Anytime I kind of got a little bored, I would just bring the horses back in. So I've already capped all of Saturday's Pimlico card. I'm halfway through Saturday's Woodbine card. I'll have about 5 tracks capped for tomorrow's Freakness at the Preakness. 10:15 a.m. we pop off tomorrow morning. Razor Sharp Picks and myself, and I can't wait. It's my favorite thing to do. There's nothing I enjoy more than hammering the horses for 12 straight hours. We'll end at the Golden Hour, the finale of the Golden Hour in California at about 9:45, 10 o'clock p.m. So 12 hours of straight glory for us there. Also, we're a fam here, and we cap together every day. And a lot of us, we'll always have our friends, from our old life. It's pretty much what I call it. But these guys we cap with are our best friends. And we have one of our fam trying to raise funds for his son's under-9 MLB All-Star team. And that is Noli Knows. Noli Knows doing a fundraiser for his son's baseball team. It's right there in the chat. Our man Jose popping it in, says support our guy Noli raising money for his son. And that's what we do for each other. We got each other's backs, and we help each other's families. And so if you can lend a hand, that would be wonderful. So that's there in the chat. All right. We're running nice. We're very, very consistent. And this is exactly what we were doing at this time last year, to a T. This is exactly what we were doing at this time last year. Last year, remember, we went on an 11-month run of winning months. We started off 2023 poorly in January, February. Sometimes you need a slap in the face. We received that slap in the face, and it's been real nice since then. But we have more work to do, more money to make. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Justin McElvey, going to miss the live show. 2 days left in Virginia Beach. I like Virginia Beach, man. It's a great area. Isn't that such a beautiful area of the States? Rehoboth Beach, too, right there in the great state of Delaware, right? That is a home of Razor Sharp Picks, my co-host for the Freakness. And he is on the Orioles over 9.5. I'm glad to tell you that I got that at 9. Got that at 9 last night. And also, Turnsey was very angry with the Blue Jays. He sent me a very angry message about the Blue Jays. I said, who cares about today? Let's focus on tomorrow. Please bet the over 5 and the over 9 immediately. And he did. Justin McElvey, I'm right there with you on the stacks play of the day. Lanil's in the house, is here early, ready together the rest of the overnighter 8-teamer. I like it. Top set, Jay Smooth in the house. Billy Friedrich says watching the quality of play in that NHL game last night in the overtimes was painful. I don't know how we don't just bet the first period under and the full game under again. I think I probably will do that. I think I'll probably do that very soon. Big O in the house. There is serious business. Andrew G says we got a few bags last night. Yeah, it was excellent work by the group, man. Excellent work. Red Girl in the house. Great to see you, Red Girl. We got D Jenkins says, let's go Panthers, baby. What a run that squad is on. Subhuman Gaucho North. Anders says, great day yesterday with all the unders. Must keep winning. That's exactly right. Billy Friedrich says, just an aside, but it was not a sellout for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final and Rally. There are still tickets available for Saturday. Embarrassing. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Look, I hope that you guys never win again, never win anything again, and never get opportunities like this again. But, I love Rod Brindamore, and I love the Hartford Whalers. So, if you guys win the cup and you have a barbecue with a few hundred people, look, we have a franchise that has a 5,000-seat arena. We're a fucking Bush League. So, but Billy Friedrich, you're a real fan, and there's a few of you out there, right? But it is disappointing, Billy. You got quite a hockey team on your hands and quite a series. J Dub, Subhuman Gaucho, Black Door King in the house. OG low bagger right there. Luke McCann ready to get to work. JT Eel. And there he is, Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast. UFC Saturday, Chase Hooper plus 105. Sprinkle the KO at plus 650. And round 3 TKO at plus 3,500. A little 35-1 banger from our friend Clint McLean. That is copied and pasted. Billy Friedrich says Tim Anderson getting thrown out, trying to steal second, killed that first 5. It was very frustrating. But, we went 4-0 in NHL and NBA, and that helped very, very much. Very, very much. Slatsy says, great work, Jimmy. Slatsy went 4-1 in NHL, looking for more. Lean to the stars and plus money so far. We're going to talk about that game first off the hop. Then we have Daby Cab joining us, and we have a last-minute replacement for our Friday NBA show. And our man getting Bills, Billy Brisbane, going to be jumping in on our Friday show, which I'm very thankful for. RVD 2-0 in hockey. Changed mine. Got Panthers over 4.5. Same game parlay. Over 4.5 and Panthers money line. Nice job. And JT Eel says this is our real family. I respect that, man. There's razor sharp picks cashing with Lakers plus 5.5. Great job. Great job. All right, it is time to get to work. There is Troy Torrance in the house. Danny Lopez saturated said the Nuggets -5 ticket I had last night felt like a loser, even though it was a push. Yeah, it was tough. First mission scratch tomorrow. Well, that makes everything really easy, doesn't it, Guillermo? Stupid. How much time did I talk about him on the radio this morning? Well, that makes things extremely easy. Thank you for letting me know, G. I was excited to see what First Mission was capable after winning the Lexington. Burn one, cashing the Lakers plus 6 in the under 227.5. Rocco Rogers on the over 9. And Mountcastle, I love it. Yeah, I love. Slatsy riding the Jays over. Really like this Orioles team. And there's razor sharp picks in the Black-Eyed Susan 3-4 win place. And then Exacta try and Super Boxes 1-3-4-9. I would like to cap it. I just stayed working on Saturday's card here. And we have rain in the forecast at some of these tracks, which is going to be a pain. But we'll deal with it. Pimlico race there. The big race of the day today is the Black-Eyed Susan and Razor Sharp ready to go. Burn one says Lakers should have won last night, but they forgot to play in the 4th. We win in the next 2. Tone Miggins in the house. Mr. Always Profit. Tone wondering what G likes tomorrow. I can't wait to cap the horses all together. And please join us, Tone. Deshaun G ready to go. Mr. Always Profit. Jay Peasy says gloomy day in LA, but winning will make my day bright. Mr. Heat, thank you. Mr. Always Profit in the house. Leroy Flood, Chase White. And Luke McCann says have to take a sprinkle on Heat money line. Not sold on the Celtics at all. Tom Miggins on Michael Johnson KO at plus 380 for a unit tomorrow. Michael Johnson KO for a unit. There's Noli Nose in the house. Great to see him. We talked about the fundraiser for his son's baseball team. And please, if you can, it's about our fam, and it's a really important thing that we do for each other. So Please help out Noli's son's baseball team. Levels play of the day is Dodgers team total over 4.5 at -109 for Tone. Let me make sure that is ready to go for our MLB breakdown here. The Dodgers Cardinals. What a series that is shaping up to be. Here we go. Dodgers Cardinals. That is also a Jose Bouquet spot for a Say Hey spot. Jose is heating up, and I love to see it. So this is also a Jose game. All right. It is time to get to work. Deshaun G, all of you guys, thank you for rolling with us. Rodney Barton. Noli Knows says trying to take these kids to the field of dreams. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right. It is time to get to work. Rocco Rogers on Garimbo moneyline -110 tomorrow. Time to get to work in NHL. I usually don't let the market affect anything that I want to do in NHL. And let's talk about the West Final Game 1 because I have let the market kind of seep in to my action. Again, we got to get to the black. We were a half unit away at one point and then went on a weekend losing streak with the Oilers debacle and the Leafs on Friday. But we cashed both those unders very easily yesterday. Sky Dragon says, I hate NHL. Why are we talking about it all? Sky Dragon, you're still very live here. It was a disappointing loss for Carolina, but you're still very live here. Razor Sharp Pick says Dallas to the bank. Let's talk about the line first. Dallas Stars at the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas Golden Knights were a good home team. Not as good as the Stars were on the road. I tend to not put too much emphasis into that come playoff time, but it's important if you're a road warrior group, and the Stars are. Let's take a look at this line history because it does not really make sense to me here. The Knights should be a bigger favorite than this. I moved on the Stars at +105, and they opened up at +108. Even opening up at +108, that was Tuesday night. They set the line up to get Golden Knights money, and it still moved in the Stars' direction. The Stars are now even money at my bookie. My bookie is, like many books, actively trying to beat us. I know and have hung out many times with the capper that runs the sports book there. That's a big move for him, moving the Stars to minus money. Clearly, they don't want any more Stars action. Now, I haven't asked him that, but this move now, there was just a 1 cent move to Vegas, as we've been saying that at Pinnacle. So the Stars now +104. But I try not to let this come into my head. I like just to cap NHL on my own. Now, look, let's talk about the X's and O's here. Oh, what is Sky Dragon gave his Black Eyed Susan? Oh, yes. Yes, I apologize, Sky Dragon. Yes, this is a sports show today, but we'll be all over the card tomorrow. So, with that being said, I also looked at the money line, or the money, where the money was. And I was like, 58% of the tickets, 55% of the cash is on the Golden Knights. And the market's just been continually moving to the Dallas Stars. From a total side of things, 77% of the tickets are on the over and 91% of the cash. So, yeah, we could say, the market's sort of indicating that Dallas is very live here. The market is screaming at us that the under is in play. This under, so you have 91% of cash on the over, and it's moved 4 cents, and it had only moved 1 cent as of 10:24 a.m. That's wild to me. And the problem is that I have the same vividness bias or recency bias, a little of both, that both these teams are going to score goals. I already heard from Birdie that he thinks it's going to be a very tight checking, low-scoring series. And the market's indicating that, they're happily taking all this money on the over. So that as well makes me want to hesitate. We are on Top Set. We are rolling. Top Set. The show has popped off. Top Set. Somebody let Top Set know that the show is on. Beefy Bet says over 1.5 first period is his look. John Garcia says basically Dallas' head coaching versus talent of the night. So I think I don't know if that's basically. Vitalis, if they go to a shootout system, we'll lose our minds. They'll never be able to do it. They've got to deal with 4 overtime periods. So there'll be a huge fight back on that. That's how games end, and it's not going to change. Let's start in goal. Jake Ottinger versus Aiden Hill. A sign of how great the Golden Knights are is that they've been able to revolve in 5 goaltenders. I mean, that's just a sign of how strong a hockey team they are. Jake Ottinger hasn't been spectacular in the playoffs, but he has it in him. We've seen him do it before. 2.75 goals against average, 903 save percentage in the playoffs. 1 shutout. Aiden Hill is playing very well. 2.19 goals against average, 934 save percentage. He believes in himself. During the regular season, the Stars' special teams were spectacular. 5th power play, 3rd penalty kill, 1st face-offs. It's carried over into the playoffs. Stars 31.7% power play, 83.3% penalty killing, 57.1% face-off circle. They are a much better team than the Golden Knights, with an extra attacker or down an attacker. But you have to say that 5-on-5, Vegas is the best team in the Western Conference, clearly. Vegas had the 18th ranked power play and the 19th ranked penalty killing this year. Their power play is even worse at 17.5%. And their penalty killing is bad at 60%, but they did go up against the Edmonton Oilers. So, first off, that is clear to me that the Stars' special teams are better than the Knights, and the Knights are better 5-on-5 than the Stars. That's clear, okay? John Garcia says Knights are very capable of winning on the road. Yes, but here we are at home, so we'll focus on that. Then we have the coaching situation that John brought up. Pete DeBoer was fired by the Knights last year, and he gets his chance to exact revenge. You could say that Pete DeBoer knows, the strengths and weaknesses of this group, and that's true. But the Knights have 2 assistants who coached under DeBoer last season, and John Stevens, they also was on the Dallas bench the past 3 seasons. So I think it's maybe a little tiny bit of an advantage for Dallas. So DeBoer is angry that he was fired. He has a home in Las Vegas. He's kept it. He says that there's no hiding from the fact that it means a little more. He took them to the conference finals 2 years in a row, and then the Knights failed to make the playoffs last season for the first time in their franchise's history, and he was let go. Let's talk about the forward. So Gerardo Hernandez liking Vegas money line. What up, Gerardo? There's Sean Pulliam in the house. Rio ready to get to work. Great to see all of you guys. So, Joe Pavelski, 38 years old, his 6th conference final since 2010, and he's trying to get to his first Stanley Cup final. That's special. Ryan Suter, 38 years old in his 18th season. He hadn't even made it to the conference final before. This is his first conference final. So he's played 1,470 games, combined regular season playoffs, and he's never been in a conference final. That's special that these 2 guys are getting this opportunity. Rio says, I need Robertson to wake the hell up this series. He does need to badly. He not playing with confidence. Rupi Hintz, though, has been spectacular. 19 points in 13 games. Jamie Benn hasn't been... When he's been on, he's been very good. When he's off, he's making mistakes and, a few penalties that he shouldn't be. His head's not been fully in the game at times, but he's been very good overall in the playoffs. And Max Domi has been unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Added a huge line with Mason Marchment. And now Seguin, because they've moved Pavelski up to the first line. And Seguin, we saw what happened to him once he got to move up to the top line with Rupi and Robertson. Heiskanen is playing 28 minutes and 15 seconds a game. Dodonov is playing very well. And Wyatt Johnston is giving this team spark. Spark. Sometimes a team needs that 19 or 20-year-old kid who's just playing fearless out there, bringing spark to the team. Wyatt Johnston's doing that. Now, when we talk about this Golden Knights team, they're so deep. Eichel is good. He's good, but Chandler Stevenson is an excellent first-line centerman. You have players in Will Carlson, Jonathan Marchessault, and Riley Smith that have been there and succeeded in these types of situations, and they continually step up for this club. This is a very tough Vegas Golden Knight team. Very, very tough. Very, very talented and very deep. They've moved Marchessault up to this first line with Barbashev and Eichel. They have Chandler Stevenson playing with Mark Stone and Brett Howden, a very talented line. Nicholas Roy playing with Will Carlson and Riley Smith. Pietrangelo is being very good. He's with Alec Martinez. And then you have Shea Theodore and Braden McNabb. You have to say that the Golden Knights defense is better than Dallas Stars defense. Sweaty Butchers on the Knights. Money line at minus 125. With all this said and done, I think the biggest difference between these two teams is toughness. It's toughness. I apologize for my son crying in the background. It's toughness. It's Mason Marchment. It's Jamie Benn going up against the Golden Knight forwards. Now, Stevenson, Stone, these guys aren't weaklings. But that's the biggest difference I see in this series. And they will make it harder and harder and harder on the Golden Knights. Can they win the series? I don't know. But I do think that the Knights have been sitting around after beating the team that was the favorite to win the Stanley Cup in the Oilers. And they probably feel pretty good about themselves. They've been sitting at home. Now they come to the Western Conference Final, sold out in Vegas, and you have a Dallas Stars team champing. You have a Dallas Stars team whose coach despises the other side and loves the city. You have a market begging for Golden Knights money, and they already have 58% of that cash, and the line keeps moving towards the Dallas Stars. I didn't want to move on game one, but I did move on game one, and I moved on the Dallas Stars at plus 105 in game one. I was talking to picks from Dave, and I was saying one thing that's been different with my playoffs this year is I haven't let the futures get in the way. And my first feel was that I should just let my futures on the Stars talk. And I said, no, we got to keep betting each game as if we don't have futures. And I must continue to do that, or I won't find success in the playoffs. Johnny K says, I'm thinking Vegas might get him. Of course. Vegas is at home and just took out the number one ranked team market-wise for the Stanley Cup. Of course. 58% of the tickets are on the Vegas Golden Knights, and the line's moving towards the Stars. Christopher Comatini on Vegas money line. The only person that we've heard here on Dallas is Razor and myself. John Garcia says Dallas had to go 7 games. How's the legs going to be? Legs are fine. You want to be going every second night now. You don't want a long time off. And they gave the squad a little bit of a break. So that's what's up. Billy Friedrich on Dallas as well. And there's nothing wrong with being on the other side. Some people in Gaucho, it's a huge mistake that I've made constantly. I'm trying not to. Jimmy Gomez, see, there's another capper who is also heavy on the under, believing in the under. It's I get it, Jimmy, and you guys have talked me off of the over. Matt Paulin says all he's done for the NHL playoffs is bet the underdogs and smashed. I love that. Beefy Bet says DraftKings not allowing same game parlay here. Would like to parlay Eichel and Hintz to score anytime, but it's locked. Matt Paulin's going to be on the Stars. No North Ender. We heard a bunch of people here on Vegas, and I could give you guys. So Christopher Comatini on Vegas, Johnny K on Vegas. We have Sweaty Butcher here on Vegas. Gerardo Hernandez here on Vegas. So there you go. I'm not messing with the under 5.5 because it actually didn't correlate with the way I saw. I see goals, but I know that's just a vividness bias and a recency bias, so I'll let that go. Thank you, John. I actually need it. put myself in that situation. I need it, unfortunately. My futures have gone awry. But there you go. That is the West Final Game 1. We are running pretty nice. 31-24 plus 7.3 units in the playoffs. And we're down 2.86 units on the year, which is not acceptable. But I believe that we can find the black, and keep climbing. Dallas Stars plus 105 for me. It is time to get into MLB. We have a beautiful 15-game card. It was disappointing, that home run in the top of the fifth with 2 out. I was driving into a Walmart, got a soccer shoes. We didn't get them at Walmart, but they're so cheap at Walmart. I wanted to see them, but they were just trash. Getting soccer shoes for Ella and Carter. They start soccer on Sunday. And I had the baseball game up where I should have my GPS, and really upset my wife that I was doing that. She thought it was very dangerous, very irresponsible. It stayed up. And then I saw the home run hit with 2 out in the top of the fifth, and I got very upset in the parking lot. I got very angry in the parking lot. That's probably why I thought the shoes were such shit at Walmart. 1 and 2 instead of 2 to 1. You know, that shit happens. Let's get to work. Let's bring on our MLB expert. He's with us every second Friday, but twice a week. You can find him with Jose on the Say Hey Plays of the Day. He's had a very successful season. He hasn't had it here with us, but the sample size is minuscule, and I know how competitive he is. And so I'm not afraid of putting his record up because I know it'll just light the fire under Daby Cab. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas, Daby Cab in the house. Daby, how are you, my friend?
Not going to start off on mute, Jimmy. I'm good, man. I'm good. And yeah, like you said, I'm not scared of that fucking record. We'll go get it, man. We'll go get it. We're going to get that money. We got that chat out here today. I heard you shout out Black Thor. Shout out to that dude. He's been hitting me in the DMs. He put a little money in a betting account and, used me as a reference, hit me with some money yesterday. So we appreciate that guy right there, man. All you guys, Jimmy Gomez, D Jenkins. I'm ready to make some money today, Jimmy. We got a good card, huge card ahead of us.
I'm excited, but I find the card quite difficult. A few of the spots that I wanted to move on, I could not because it didn't all correlate. And then I've doubled up yesterday early. I'm talking like 6 p.m. I doubled up on the Orioles Jays game, 3 innings into yesterday's Jays game. So that's my only action. Dab, I'm excited to get to work with you. We haven't had enough of these Fridays. This is just our second Friday. You've had one betting with Bouquet, and you've had one Peter Loshak show. So those are the 3 shows for your records. Only one with me. Let's get to work, my friend. Let's get to work. Rem, stop that, man. That was misconstrued. It's just me. And it's not about capping. It's just about me talking the way I would like to talk because I have all these stats in front of me and I got to move quickly. So I want Cabby right where he wants to be, lit up. Daby Cab, let's get to work. Thank you guys for joining us. Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. We are going for our second straight week sweepage, our 8th straight winning show, and our 11th winning show. We've now won 11 of our last 12, so we're going for 12 of 13.
Hell yeah.
Let's get to work here right now. We start at 6:35 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks 25-19, 11-9 on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates 23-20, 10-9 at home. We're in PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's get over to the weather to start us off. 72 Fahrenheit, 5.2 miles per hour, right to left, slightly out. By the 2 hours in, it's in, and an hour in, it's right to left, slightly in. But by the last hour of the game, it's completely in. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Move over to MLB. Sorry, just take a second. I should have done this already. It was a setup on NHL. And let's get to work here. Zach Gallen going up against Oviedo. First off, we've had a move, as you would expect, to the Diamondbacks, but it was not as brisk as I had expected. I was watching it last night, and, at 9:15, there'd been an 8-cent move. At 10:40, there'd been a 7-cent move. By 11:41, there had only been what's that? A 4-cent move. That tells me that, and maybe I'm diving too far into this because, of course, when the limits were raised, the Diamondbacks got hit hard, and this moved quickly at 1:30 in the morning to minus 175. Right now, it's minus 169. Take a look at the total here for this one. Sorry, move over here to the total. I've got a new system on this site, and it's a pain in my Posalia. Here we go. The opened up at 7.5, juice to the over. There's been a 4-cent move to that over. So let's get into the cash flow here. See what we are dealing with for our first game on the board. 6:35 p.m. Move over here. Here we go. We have 28% of the tickets on the Pirates and 73% of the cash. At this point, when you see the big bets coming in on the Pirates, you have to ask yourself, why do you think that's happening? And I have an answer, and we'll discuss it. 42% of the tickets and 60% of the cash on the under, and yet the line's moving towards the over. Razor sharp picks moving on Pimlico race 1. Rocco Rogers says it's Gallon day, folks. Gallon over 6.5 Ks, top play. Gallon to record the win at plus 105. There's AEOD in the house. I've only made a play on one game right now. Vitalis asking if I made a play on Snell, but I don't care that he's losing Better's money. He was very impressive in those 2 starts against the Dodgers. But we'll talk about this here. But let's go. Zach Gallen, 6-1, 2.35 ERA, 0.85 WHIP, 57 1/3, 70 Ks, 8 walks, 2 home runs. He's been excellent. 7 2/3 last out, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks, 2 walks, and a 7-2 win at home over the Giants. At home, he's 5-0 with a 0.77 ERA and opponents rating 158 against him. On the road, he has a 4.84 ERA. Opponents rating 250 off of him. That's over 22 1/3 innings. So that's my first thought. Well, obviously the Pirates backers don't believe in Zach Gallen on the road or think that he is being overbet on the road. So that was the first thing I had to figure out. Why? Why are the sharps or so-called sharps or bigger bets coming in on the Pirates? You have Oviedo coming off his first good start, really, of the year. 6-3 loss at the Orioles. He went 5 innings, allowed just 1 earned run, 3 Ks and 5 walks, but that's a tough team to pitch against. Diamondbacks versus righties, 270, 789. We know they smash them, and the Pirates aren't hitting. 229, 693 OPS versus righties. The Pirates do have an advantage in their bullpen. 3.49 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, while the Diamondbacks 4.43 ERA, 1.31 WHIP. Take it away, Dabra Cadabra. First game on the board, Arizona Diamondbacks at Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, that market, it's interesting to me. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around why people would be betting Pittsburgh right now. You know, the D-backs in the lineup, one thing that I've been so impressed with this team this year is they have several hitters that contribute. They don't rely on one guy or they don't rely on the middle of the lineup. Walker's been great. He's got 12 RBIs, 1.1 OPS this month, which is incredible. 11 homers with where did it go? This month he has 11 homers on the season. Jesus Christ. He went 8 for 22 with 3 RBIs against the Pirates last season, so he's been comfortable here against this team. Arizona's putting up 5.16 runs per game. That's putting them at 6th, and their pitchers have been all right, 4.52 ERA this season. But what I really think is I just think the Diamondbacks are proving they're the real deal. That's where I've been going at with this. They've won 5 of their last 6 games, including a series win against the Giants. They've been great at the plate. And the Pirates are plummeting. Everybody's seen it. They've yet to win a series this month. They've just completely fallen off. They've dropped, what is it? Where is it? They dropped 7 of their last 10. Yeah, that's what I got written down. 7 of the last 10 games. So they're still falling off here, even though their last win was an 8-0 win against Detroit. But it's almost been automatic for Arizona with Gallen on the hill this mound. He's won 7 of his 8 starts here. He's clearly the ace, ranking near the top in all pitcher categories. If you look at all of them, I mean, ERA, WHIP, it doesn't matter where you go. He's at the top. He's only got the 8 walks, which is outstanding, especially, with his strikeout to walk ratio. I don't get this, Jimmy. I like the Pirates, I like Arizona here. I like them in the first 5. It doesn't make sense to me why the big money would be coming in on Pittsburgh.
I think it does matter where you go, because if you look at his road record, it's not very good. Now, you could say the sample size is too small, 22 and a third. You could say going up in Chavez Ravine is a tough spot to pitch, and all that would be valid. If you want the Diamondbacks first five, you can have them, my friend. Also, Jose, that's my yesterday MLB record. I went 1-2 yesterday. I sent you the new record. If you could put it up just so everybody can see it, because the accountability is so important. I went 1-2 yesterday, so I'm at 71 and 67, 51.4%, minus 3.24 units, ROI minus 2.35%. So we'll get that up for a future game here. But that's all it says to me. It says that if we are capping Gallen off of his full year, then there's an advantage to bet the Pirates. I'm not saying that Gallen's not going to be excellent and Diamondbacks are going to easily win, but that immediately takes me off of the Diamondbacks. So that's just my thought here. But if you trust Gallen implicitly with no care about where he's pitching, then you should fire away.
I mean, what did you say it was? 23 innings? That's not a sample size whatsoever. I mean, 23 innings, in the 4 ERA, that could easily be a 2. A couple pitches just in a different spots. That's not as big. I mean, I know it seems like a huge difference, but on that small of amount of innings, it's really not. You look at Oviedo, he's allowed 18 runs in his last 17 in 2/3 innings here. So, I know he had a good start last game, but still been struggling a lot lately. The 18 runs in his last 17 innings, it's just a bad look. So, yeah, I don't know. I might make this one official, but even with everything that the market and everything, and what's funny, Jimmy, is we look, and I've struggled right here, but I know and anybody who followed me knows I track everything like completely open. Basically, all of my losses have come like right here. The last month, I'm 31 and 18 right now. So, and I wouldn't usually let this get into my head. I'd just go with what I've capped it towards, which would be Arizona first five. So I might get there at the run line.
Okay. Well, if you do, let me know. Billy Friedrich says Gallen's home road splits last season were nearly identical. So, if you don't think that the 22 and the third innings is enough sample size, which is fair, then, we should say the same about Oviedo's last 18 innings.
Sure.
And then Oviedo's last start, he allowed 1 earned run in 5 innings against the Orioles. Now, the Orioles are a little tougher, or a little weaker with right-handed pitchers. They smash lefties, and we'll talk about that today. I don't think there's anything wrong with being on the Diamondbacks. Again, as you know, so this is 6th year of doing it publicly, and now the first bet that jumps out at me, I put a line through it, and of course, this was the first bet that jumped out at me.
The
obviously, obviously Diamondbacks. Obviously, Zach Gallen.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like, of course. I mean, how do you not want Zach Gallen here? And then I saw the bigger bets on Pittsburgh. I was like, okay, well, I've got to figure this out. All right. Mr. Always Profit, liking the first 5 under. Gifted Cartel says Pirates last in the league against right-handed pitching. I don't have that at all, Gifted Cartel. Are you talking about like last week or 2 weeks or something? It must be. Oh, in the month.
Yeah, just recently.
Okay. In the month of May. Okay.
Outside of that game against Detroit recently, they're probably last in a lot of hitting stats, but definitely not on the season.
Yeah, definitely not on the season. But he must be talking about in May, which makes sense there. Piker says Gallen is due for positive road regression. If you look at last year's split, so take on Gallen on the road might be as strong as I'd like it to be. So that take on Gallen on the road might not be as strong as I'd like it to be. Look, I get it. Look, I'm not saying that I believe in it and I'm on the Pirates. I just said, why are the big bets coming in? I just want to know. I just want to know what their thought process would be, and then that just makes everything easier for me to cap or to move past it. And I'm moving past this. And if you want Zach Gallen, please let us know, Daby Cab. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee Brewers 24-19, 11-11 on the road at Tampa Bay Rays 32-13, now 19-3 at home. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. This was another bet that jumped out at me, but they didn't give us a line forever. We had to wait for a line here. Let's start. I have the total up, so we'll do the line history here with the total quickly at Pinnacle. Pinnacle has moved this to 8. This opened up at 7.5, juiced pretty heavy to the under. And this didn't come out also until 8:47 this morning. So this was under 7.5, minus 115. And now we're almost 3 hours later, and it's an 8. And it was an 8 juice to the over at 10:04 a.m. So a legit move to the over here. Let's take a look at the money line for this spot here. We have the Rays opening up minus 220. They're now minus 239. I thought that it was a sort of a slam dunk situation here, with Shane McClanahan. Can you look past that last start at the Yankees? I think you can. He's been spectacular at home. 23 innings, 1.57 ERA, 171 opponent's batting average. And Hauser missed the first month of the regular season with a groin injury. We've watched Pete Loshak have no problem backing pitchers that he likes coming off the IL if it's not an arm injury. And maybe Daby can touch on that because he was a very highly regarded pitcher. So, Dave, they're using Hauser as their fifth starter. And in his last start, he allowed multiple base runners in each of his first 4 innings. You have to think he's vulnerable. Now, he got out of trouble, and it's something that we see, good pitchers do. Brewers versus lefties, abysmal, 216, 643 OPS. Rays versus righties, 267, 841 OPS. So you have the best team in the league against righties versus the worst team in the league against lefties. You have McClanahan, who has a 2.34 ERA and a 1.22 whip. And 2 bullpens that are both struggling right now. Surprisingly, the Rays bullpen is struggling right now. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have 92% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on the Tampa Bay Rays.
Fuck.
Then you have 64% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on the over. The over, you can say, is still, a very dangerous bet. Only 64% of the tickets are on it, but some huge bets have come in on it. For the 92, and it just switched. It just switched to 95. So that's good. Now 92% tickets, 95% of cash. But we have 3 days in a row spots with 97% of cash lose. And unfortunately, I was on the Pirates first 5 minus a half with Rodriguez like a schmuck. And I wouldn't do it yesterday. I was like, I can't. Now, I still ended up losing on the full game under in the Angels-Orioles game, but I was like, I'm not going to make that same mistake. North Ender says Tampa Bay first 5 minus 1 is too pricey. And Bill Yerger says looks like a first 5 money line parlay Arizona Tampa. And I couldn't believe there was no line. I was waiting for a line. I mean, this seems like the biggest slam dunk on the card.
I got minus 105 for the first 5. Let me see if this line's moved. I guess it's minus 115 now. I got the minus 1 at minus 105. So,
okay.
I was just saying that because he said it's too pricey. I mean, to me, and I could throw this out there because I'm somebody who does get behind some pitchers that have some pretty big lines sometimes. I like the minus 1 when I can get it, at minus 110 or better, because even minus 115 doesn't bother me with the minus 1, Jimmy. It's like, look, I don't want to push, but like if I could tell you the line was, minus 105 for half a run for McClanahan in the first 5, everybody would tell me it was a trap, right? So it's like, the minus 1, I'm not scared of a push. I don't want to push, but I'm not scared of it.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't have any. I'm fine with those minus 1s. I definitely feel you here. First 5 minus 1s, and this is probably the a situation where it works. It works. I don't know what Hauser's going to give you here, and I don't expect it to be that strong.
Well. And you look at Milwaukee, so I didn't really go into it because I just went into the bet. Sorry about that. But Milwaukee's slugging dips dramatically on the road by 73 points compared to their home numbers, which is a huge drop. They had that rough road series just now against St. Louis. They're down to 21st in teams runs per game here. And they have the 27th ranked strikeout rate. So if you think about, McClanahan's numbers on his swing and miss stuff and how many strikeouts McClanahan's getting, I think anybody looking at strikeout props, it's not my thing. Shout out to our dude Sharpie and Rocco in the chat. But I think that, his strikeout prop would be live today, depending on what it is. And, the Brewers, like I said, they're laboring on the road, whereas the Rays are 19-3 right now at home. Tropicana Field is a place where they're comfortable. Of course, they're pretty much comfortable anywhere right now. But after coming off a rough start last time, I think McClanahan, I think he's right where he wants to be, back at home to get back in shape. He's got the 1.57 home ERA this year with the 4 starts. He's definitely still a Cy Young candidate. And, their only 3 losses last year were against the ALCS contestants at home. I like the Rays first 5 here. I hate that you said 99% of the cash is on this. I think in the couple years I've been, listening to you and paying attention to you talk about the market. I don't know if I could tell you one fucking time that 97 or 99% of the cash is cashed. I'm dead ass serious. I'm sure it has, and I know it has, and I probably remember the losses more, but I do not like that. But I've made the bet, and you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take Arizona in the first 5 too. I think just looking at my overall record, not even just this past month, but forever in gambling, I got to just go with what I would do here. I don't think I can let it get my I can't overthink it too much.
No, I respect that. Did you tweet out either of these, or are we looking for best line right now?
No, I tweeted them both out.
Okay, sweet. What did you get on the first 5 minus a half?
Minus 106. And that's moved all the way to minus 118 now. So.
And the Rays first 5 minus
105.
First 5 minus 1 minus 105. Sweet. My apologies for not looking at your action before the show started. I should have done that. I usually do.
It's all good. I don't I could tag you. I always tag Pub Sports Radio. I just, sometimes when people tag me in their stuff, I get flooded with it. So I try and not tag too many people. I always tag Pub Sports Radio though.
Oh no, dope. And are those the only 2 spots, or do you have more that you've moved on?
I have more action. I got the Braves in the first 5.
Okay.
Pinnacle was hanging a minus 127. It's a minus 130 or a minus 129 now on the first 5 money line with the Braves, but I got the Braves first 5 minus 127.
Okay, sweet. So we'll discuss that when we get there, but everything else we will be looking together with, and I like it. All right, so we have Daby Cab moving on both of the first 2 games. Diamondbacks first 5 minus a half at minus 106. Rays first 5 minus 1 at minus 105. And there's some interesting questions being brought up in the chat, like Gift the Cartel saying, what if Hauser came off that last start, bounced back against the Rays? I don't like the whole world on the Rays, says Gift the Cartel. If this was a home start for Hauser, he's traditionally being a pitcher who I like to back at home. I would think that was more of a possibility, and it still is a possibility. Then you could say, Shane McClanahan coming off allowing 4 runs in 4 innings now was at New York, who he's had some trouble with. But that's enough for me just to say that it doesn't all correlate for a big favorite. But I get, and those 2 spots jumped off the card, when you looked at it. I get why Daby's on both of those. All right, let's roll on. So, the Viper MB and the Cappers who've run with me for a long time, they know that I see Clark Schmidt with a 6.30 ERA still being sent out there by the Yankees, and Ben Lively, a journeyman who just didn't pitch during the pandemic, just took a couple years off. A 31-year-old journeyman who's actually pitching very well this year. And my immediate thought is, everybody's going to be on the over. I'm really interested in this under. And that's just, I don't know if it's helpful. I love bum fights, and we got a bum fight on the mound here. Let's break it down. New York Yankees 26-20, 10-10 on the road at Cincinnati Reds 19-24, 12-9 at home. We're at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. We'll start with the weather here in Cincy. 11.3 miles per hour right to left, 81 Fahrenheit. Beautiful day. 11.3 miles per hour right to left, very slightly out. Goes from 11.3 down to 10 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Billy Friedrich says Lively only pitches 2 or 3 innings, right? I don't know if certainly not if he's pitching well. I had Lively's action up here at Baseball Reference. It's not up here anymore. I had to cut some of these windows because I had too many open. But let's get back to him and talk about it. He's capable of starting. He's a starting pitcher in the minors. I believe that he's cranked up right now. In this year, this is his first start for the Reds. He's only throwing 5 in the 3rd innings. But this is a kind of like a journeyman that I just think that it's pretty easy for a team to rally around. In no way am I saying that I want the Reds at this point, but I think it's pretty easy to rally around him. So, and I take that back. There's a different pitcher I'm talking about because he went to Korea for 20 and 21, and I said that he didn't pitch. I'm thinking of somebody else. Might be, God, who is it? I might be. Is that? I'll have to go over there. Thinking confusing him with somebody else because he went to Korea for those 2 years. He came back in 2022 and spent some time in Louisville. He made 18 starts in Louisville in AAA, and he was okay. But this year he started out very, very well in Louisville. 4-0 in 5 starts, 27 innings, 1.07 WHIP, and he's carried that right over to the show. Not entirely sure what that means. Thank you, Bill McDonald. Love hearing that. Joe Yurkovich says Yanks coming from a big series in Toronto now, an interleague game, not the best situation. And Markel says can't trust anyone and passing. Gifted Cartel says Reds lineup hasn't been the best against righties. They hit okay, but it's ticky-tack. 245, 704 OPS. Says coming off a road trip from the Rockies could be tough. Yankees 3rd in the league for isolated power, 4th in the league team OPS. Yankees are starting to hit, but still just 239, 719 OPS versus righties. So let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. Yankees, Cincinnati Reds, Schmidt versus Lively. Sorry, move over here. What a pain this is doing this. Okay, here we go. So this is first 5. It sucks so much that I have to deal with this here. First 5, we have a 13-cent move to the Yankees and Clark Schmidt. Let's see what we have on the full game here. Take me a second. I apologize. Oh, man, so annoying. All right, they're not okay, here we go. Now they're giving us the goods. It's going to take a second for it to pop up. While that's popping up, okay, here, it's finally here. Let's take a look at the full game line here for the Yankees. Opening up here at minus 154. They got up to minus 172. They're sitting at minus 170. So we have a move toward the Yankees. And then from a total side of things, this opened up at 10.5. And now it's juiced to the over. This was juiced to the under all night and all morning at some books. It didn't come out at Pinnacle till 7:44 in the morning. But it opened up under 10 at minus 114. It's now under 10 at minus 104. So we have a 10-cent move to the over and a 13-cent move to the Yankees. Going over to the cash flow for this 10-cent move to the Yankees, we have 61% of the tickets on the Yankees and 45% of the cash. Then we have 58% of tickets and 62% of cash on the over, and now it's moving to the over. Gifted Cartel says all the stats are for May. Okay, that'll help. Thank you, Gifted Cartel. That will help. There's Atlanta Wake and Bake in the house. So Clark Schmidt has looked bad. He's only had 12 1/3 innings on the road this year, but he's an 8.76 ERA, and opponents are hitting 368 off him. He's coming off an 8-7 loss at home versus the Rays, 7 earned runs in 4 2/3. But the Yankees brass keeps sending him out there, and we trust the Yankees with their plan around pitchers. Ben Lively here with a cup of coffee, but he looks pretty good. Cup of coffee in the show. We have the Reds hitting and the Yankees not having power against righties, although the Gifted Cartel's numbers for the Yankees in May are impressive. Yankees bullpen 3.11 ERA, 1.27 WHIP, Reds 3.75, 1.32. Take it away for us here, Daby Cab, Yankees, Reds.
Yeah, this isn't one that I was super interested in here. The Reds have lost 3 of their last 4 games on their road trip here, but they're coming back home where they've been hot. They've won 6 of their last 9 games at home. They're playing well offensively here, and you can't trust the Yankees right here, starting pitcher, like you said. The Reds have scored 17 runs in their last 3 games, which is that's great. They're going to play well in this game too because they hit well against right-handers. So I think this is probably a good spot for them. I would lean Reds here. If you gave me a free bet, I'd probably take the Reds. Yankees on the other side, they've won 4 of their last 6 games, but on the road, this is where they've struggled. They've lost 6 of their last 9 road games. They're also playing pretty well offensively, so the people talking about the over, it makes sense. Yankees have scored 13 in their last 3 games. If you hear me when I talk about like last 3 games, like baseball is like a wave. Like I either look at the full season or I look at the last 3 games at the plate. If I'm looking at like hitter props or like how the team's doing, because, like it's important, like where they're at right now. And right now, both of these teams are comfortable at the plate. So it looks good. I'd look over or Reds if I had free bets, but I'm not betting this one.
Can I ask you what your thoughts are about teams leaving Colorado in the thin air? You talk about the runs they've scored, 17 last 3 games in Colorado. Do you believe in the hangover that affects teams when they leave the thin air?
I think it really depends on where they're going. Like, this Reds ballpark is still a hitter's ballpark. I mean, it's still hitter friendly, like with the weather. So, yes, I think there can be a hangover, but not necessarily. I think it really depends on where you're going.
Yeah, no, that's valid. And they're going they're going home to a pitcher's ballpark. Well, I've wanted to bet this under for a long time here. I'm certainly not going to do it now. It'd be another situation where I think that you'd want to move towards a full game here. Joe Yerger says yes if there is no
maybe even a Yankees
off.
team total under.
Joe Yerger makes a great point because the Reds did have a day off.
True.
Yeah, I guess this is going to be a stay off spot for me. This to me though, because when the public sees 6.30 ERA, I know that they just want to fade. And I'd like to be on the other side of that. Maybe I can't do that in this spot here. And Jake Burns says Jose Altuve in the lineup for the Astros tonight. Thank you for letting us know. I'm okay staying off this, but I'm a little concerned that I'm not going to have a ton of action on this card. I found this card difficult, so no action for either of us. And Daby, if you want to add something, please let me know. We move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Cubs 19-24, 8-13 on the road. The Philadelphia Phillies 20-23, 11-7 at home. We're at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We will start with the weather in Philly. 67 Fahrenheit, 10.2 miles per hour out to left field. Goes from 10.2 to 7.8 miles per hour. Let's move over to the line history here. Again, we're going to use Pinnacle. Total wise, this opened up at 8.5 and is now at 9. It is juiced to the under, but it went to 9 once and went back to 8.5, and now it's at 9 again. So it's sitting at 9, juiced to the under. Let's take a look at the money line here for this one. Stroman versus Ranger Suarez. We have the Phillies opening up at minus 125. They're now minus 123. There was an initial move towards the Cubs, and it's come back. So at this point, the Cubs have gone from plus 115 to plus 114. So we have basically no move, and then on the side, and we have a move on the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow then. 60% of the tickets and 94% of the cash is on the Chicago Cubs. It's an alarming amount of money on the Cubs for the line not to be moving. Now, the problem is the ticket count's just 60. It's moved to 93. So 60 and 93. I wish it was 90 and 93. Then, I would be very, very interested in Suarez and the Phillies. You have 30% of the tickets and 69% of cash on the under, and yet it's gone up to 9 a couple times. Stimmy OG in the house, great to see you. And Rocco Rogers says Clark Schmidt gets the K's. That was in our last game we spoke of. The Stroh Show coming off an ugly loss at the Twins. 2 2/3. He allowed 6 earned runs. He got off to such a great start this year. He's looked a little vulnerable of late. 21 innings on the road, 3.86 ERA, 256 opponent's batting average. Ranger Suarez missed the first 6 weeks of the season due to a left elbow strain. He came back in Colorado in a pretty vulnerable spot, and he was okay. 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 4 Ks. Cubs are smashing lefties, 282, 823 OPS, and the Phillies are hitting righties very hard, 273, 769 OPS. Cubs bullpen has not looked very good lately, 4.46 ERA, 1.28 whip. And the Phillies bullpen has brought that ERA from 7 all the way down to 4.19 with a 1.38 whip, and no bullpen's been better over the last month. Rocco Rogers says he faded Stroman Sunday, and he believes he's asking, are we fading him today again? Fernando Mendoza is on the Phillies money line. Take it away for us here, Daby Cab. Did I talk about the cash flow? Yes, I did with 9 days. Take it away for us here, Cubbies, Phillies. You are muted, my friend.
There we go. About time. This is another one I didn't like too much. Suarez, like you said, you don't have much of a sample for him this year because he just got the last start where he allowed the 3 runs in the 4 innings. That was Saturday at Coors Field. And now when you look at last year, 10-7 with the 3.65 ERA and 29 starts. At home, he was 4 for 4 with the 4.27 ERA in 13 starts. So he wasn't like better at home or more comfortable at home or anything like that. I do think that this is a good spot for him to get right. I kind of think this is going to be a tightly contested game throughout. I would probably lean first 5 under if I was going to bet this. And if you look at the track record of both starters, I think that this is a game that they can both get up for. I think they should be excited for this game. Both of these teams should be pressing to get a win here. They both need it. And when teams are pressing for a win, I expect the hitters to be a little tighter and the pitchers to be locked in. I'd look first 5 under in this one. I really wouldn't want to get involved with the Cubs bullpen right now. I think under. I'm not going to bet this one, Jimmy.
Yeah, this one is I'm not comfortable. Not a comfortable spot. Bo Jackson says Cubs are 5-1 on Fridays this season. Fernando Mendoza looking at the under 9. Bo Jackson on the Cubs money line. This is a no-go for me as well. Pretty nice hitting weather at Citizens Bank. 2 teams that are very good with the sticks. Historically, and something I've stopped doing is I stopped fading a pitcher after a horrible start. My ROI was negative. I
didn't know I would have told you not to do it. Well, depending on the pitcher, but like if it's a good pitcher, or has a decent track record, you got to think they want to get right that next start.
Definitely. But now across the board, I will not fade a pitcher after a horrible start at all. I just stopped doing it completely over the last couple of years. Piker says he's got the Cubs as a slight favorite in his notes. This is a lean for him. Hasn't gotten there yet. Joe Yurvich talking about the Cubbies smash lefties. And Sean Pulliam thinks it's a sneaky nerfy. And he's looking to make his move.
I don't like those, but I think that might be a good bet.
The nerfy?
Yeah, I think that could be a good bet. I think both of these pitchers come out locked in. That's kind of where I cap this at.
Well, let us know if you want to make the addition to your card.
That feels like such gambling, though, and not like, I don't know. Those nerfies don't feel the same, but I think it is a good bet. And I know people make money on them.
They do. They sure do. Let's move on, though, to our next spot on the board. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Tigers 19-22, 9-12 on the road. At the Washington Nationals 18-26, 8-14 at home. We're at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. We have Matthew Boyd going up against Jake Irvin. 26-year-old Jake Irvin picked in the 4th round of the 2018 draft out of the University of Oklahoma. He's made a few starts in AAA Rochester, the Dirty Chester, home of Mike M. And right now, the Mr. Ghost at the PGA Championship in Dirty Chester. He's not looked good. 22 1/3, 1.52 whip. He's not looked good. He's come up to the majors. He's had 3 starts here, and he's looked better. 7 earned runs over 15 1/3, but 14 Ks, 8 walks. Irvin is just not to be trusted. His last start was at home, so now he has consecutive home starts. He went 4 2/3, allowed 6 earned runs, 6 Ks and 1 walk, but it was an 8-2 loss at home to the Mets. I'm sure that Jake Irvin will find the Tigers much more appealing opposition. 227 average and 632 OPS versus righties. Now the Nats are raking lefties, smashing lefties. 297, 787 OPS, and Matthew Boyd is vulnerable. I don't think Matthew Boyd is as vulnerable as Ian Cameron does. Ian Cameron and Matthew Boyd came up through the Blue Jays system. I know him really well, and Bobano was heavy against Matthew Boyd in his last start, and Bobano nailed it. And I had people message me thanking me for Bobano's breakdown. But it was Bobano's breakdown. He lasted 1 1/3 innings, allowed 6 runs, 5 of which were earned in a 9-2 loss at home to the Mariners. Piker says this is a spot where I've got the Nationals getting like 30 cents of line value here. Washington throat punches lefties. Irving should keep it under control against this lineup. He split a bet between first 5 and full game on the Nats. Boyd on the road's been decent this year. He's been lit up at home. He's been decent on the road. 2-0, 4.11 ERA, 200 opponents batting average. Now, what's going to happen when he faces a squad like the Nats, who rake lefties? Let's take a look at the weather here in D.C. We have 70 Fahrenheit, 9 miles per hour to left field, goes from 9 down to 6.8 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history here for this spot. We have Boyd and the Tigers opening up at minus 104. They're now minus 108. And this is a move that's happened basically in the last hour and a half because they were plus 101 at 10:30 this morning. So we have a slight move to the Tigers. Let's go to the total and see what we're dealing with there. So we have a slight move to the Tigers money line. And for the total at Pinnacle, this opened up at 9. And it was juiced to the under, moved to 8.5 right away, then back to 9. And now it's at 8.5. So there is an expectation that these pitchers will pitch well. I find that all very tricky, all very, very tricky to calculate. Let's just take a look at the cash flow and see if that will illuminate anything for us. 58% of the tickets, 60% of the cash on the Nationals. Slight move over to the Tigers. Then 37% of the tickets and 84% of the cash on the under. Fernando Mendoza on the under as well. Mr. Always Profit thinks Irvin will bounce back. Very interesting spot here. A bum fight. I love my bum fights. Take it away, Daby Cab. Tigers, Nats.
Bum fight for sure, man. You look at what the Tigers have done. They've won 2 of their last 3 games and 4 of their last 6 road games. They're playing well offensively. They put up 17 in their last 4 road games. I think that I don't know what to get out of Irvin here. I understand. I could make an argument or listen to the argument that he bounces back here, but he's been shaky, especially at home, giving up the 7 runs in his 2 starts. I think you touched on that. And the Nationals, they also have the 7th worst bullpen in the league. All that being said, something is still pushing me towards that under. I think that, and the shout out to our guy Noli, I think this game goes under. Both of these teams, though, have been playing well offensively as of late. The Tiger or the Nationals have lost 4 of their last 5 games. But even in that slump, they put up 17 in their last 3 games. So like I said, both these teams they're seeing the ball well at the plate. I can't bet this game. It feels like a coin flip. So, I might only have 3 or 4 bets today.
If I was betting this solely on the market, I would definitely be on the under with you guys.
That's where I'd go with the free bet. I always say where I'd go with the free bet just in case somebody's just looking for information. With the free bet, I'd go under in this one.
Yeah, the market is letting us know that both these pitchers bounce back, aren't they? It just doesn't correlate with my X's and O's, and I don't want to make a bet solely on the market. So I will cheer you guys on, but I understand market-wise why you like the under. Man, a lot of passing for me on this card. Finally, I get to double up here in the next spot.
Let's go.
Baltimore Orioles 28-16, 13-8 on the road at Toronto Blue Jays, 25-19, 13-6 at home. It is warming up a little bit up here, but there is some rain tonight in the forecast, so the roof will be closed despite it warming up. Noli says market's telling you neither team can hit. Yeah, the market's telling me that. The stats aren't. The stats are telling me that the Nats smash lefties. But the markets are for sure, Noli, definitely. Orioles, Blue Jays. This, as of early this morning, the line hadn't moved as far as I wanted it to. I'm curious to see what it's done now. And it's pretty much, there's 9.5s across the board. So that's good. I got a 9. I'm happy that's happening. But since it's gone to 9.5, there's been a lot of movement towards the under. Just like to see what Bet365 has done with it now. I got the over 9 at minus 120. And I didn't let the market, we didn't know what was going on with the market. So it's still at 9.5 at minus 105 to the over. I'd sure like it to be juiced to the over at 9.5. That would make me feel very good. Over at Pinnacle, they open up this total at 9.5 minus 117 to the under. And that's exactly where it is right now. So this has moved to 9 a couple times. It moved to 9 6 minutes after it opened, which scares me. Means that respected early bets came in on the under. Then it went back to 9.5 by 9:30, and then 30 minutes after that, it was back at 9 again. The market hasn't given me a lot more confidence. Now, it's not put me in a situation where I feel like I need to buy out of it, but it's a little disappointing that there hasn't been a bigger move here. Let's go over to the money line here. I think I know what I'm going to do now because it's taking a few seconds to go from total to money line. I'm going to have the money line up on one screen and the total up on another, and then I should have figured that out already. On the money line in this spot, we have very little movement. I guess I take that back. There's been a 9-cent move on the Blue Jays. The initial move was towards the Orioles, but now there's been a 9-cent move on the Blue Jays. Roger that in the house. Andrew G says the Jays team should be angry. And Bo Jackson says the man, the myth, the legend, the Cooch. Kikuchi, 5-0. 3.89 ERA, 1.30 whip, 41 2/3, 40 Ks, 8 walks. He has allowed 11 home runs and 41 2/3, but he's been very good. Capper in our chat that believed in him implicitly was Dennis Garcia. And Dennis has bet him nonstop so far through the year and has been reaping the rewards. Coming off a 6-5 win at home versus the Braves, 4 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, 3 homers. He looked susceptible, but he's been very good at home in a small sample size. 15 2/3, 2-0, 2.87 ERA, 2.66 opponent's batting average. Kyle Gibson, on the other hand, coming off 4-0 loss at home versus Pittsburgh. We'll go over the batter versus pitcher stuff because there's a lot of hitters that get to both of these guys. I'll wait till after Daby breaks down his thoughts on this spot. Kyle Gibson has had a good season. 4.67 ERA, 1.40 whip. I say good for him. 6 homers allowed in 52. He could be worse. The Orioles smash lefties, 278, 02 OPS. The Jays are okay versus righties, 253, 734 OPS. The Orioles bullpen's elite. The Jays bullpen is mediocre. And there's Sky Dragon saying it's Kikuchi season, baby. Sky Dragon was way ahead of the market backing Kikuchi. So I think that even if Kikuchi throws a quality start here, I think the over is live. If he allows 3 runs in 6 innings, I still think the over is alive. I need the Jays to get to Gibson, and that's a big part of this. And in the end, let's take a look at the cash flow because this was bothersome earlier today. Earlier today, 99% of the cash was on the over. And now it's 67% of the tickets and 95% of the cash. Now 68 and 95. That makes me nervous. At least it's not 90 and 95, 68 and 95. And then on the side, 37% of the tickets and 57% of the cash is on the Baltimore Orioles. I'll bring up the batter versus pitcher, but I doubled up on these overs. And another part here is that it's sort of a test with me getting the action in before the market sort of dictates it. And I'm 8-1 now on Fridays, making bets for the Raw Mike Richards radio show and not letting the market dictate it. So I'm going to keep doing it throughout the year. And here's 2 in the only 2 that I've made. Take it away for us, Daby Cab, Orioles, Blue Jays at the Rogers Center in Toronto.
Real quick on Toronto, I know it doesn't necessarily help this game, but this is really interesting here. You probably know this, being a Toronto guy, but starting rotation is first in baseball with quality starts right now. They've got 22 on the season. Pitching staff is 7th in batting average allowed at 236. They have a team ERA of 3.92, which is 11th, and they're tied for 11th in WHIP. So, not necessarily the rotation that I expected to come out and dominate, but they've been great this year. Baltimore, this is an interesting thing that I noticed. This kind of I shout out to our guy, Mike M. I feel like this is something that he might throw out there. But it's important to notice playing on turf is different than playing on grass. It just flat out is. And Baltimore's lost 62 of their last 82 games played on AstroTurf, which is I had to put that into my notes. I like the over here, Jimmy. I'm not going to join you just because I've already got a bet with 99% of the cash. And I don't like doing that. And I don't need to fill my card up with 90 or more % of the market. But I like the over in both spots here. I get to it. I was thinking maybe a Blue Jays team total over, maybe even a first 5 team total over. I think your angle on them getting to Gibson is your best angle here on why I think this could get over.
Yeah. And a lot of talk about Vladdy. I expect Vladdy to be in the lineup here today, but he could easily not be.
That's important.
It is. It is important. Spenny Pennybaum's talking about Dubas being fired and hoping that Keefe is next. I agree completely. And, it's a problem when you have fanboys managing. That's always a problem. So it's a business. And he's just like a fan managing. Talk about a guy. Of course, he's my age, right? So of course he signs Joe Thornton. He signed Wayne Simmons, of course, because we have a vividness bias of those players. Get him out of here. Kenny V looking at pony action. A lot of pony action coming in our chat. Piker says early sharp indicators all over the Orioles here, knocking the opener down 15 cents across the board. Only 29% of the action when I checked around 10 p.m. You're absolutely right. At this point, Piker, I agree with you that it looks like the sharp action is on the Orioles, except the fact that the market's moving towards the Blue Jays. But I still think you're right. And I'm going to stay off a side here. I like my over 5 at -110, the over 9 at -120. I was able to give it out on the radio show at Pinnacle, but the lines were -124, -121. I'd be curious to see if that's gone against me right now, as I remember those lines. So let's just go to Pinnacle and see what they are right now. If you want, oh yes, they just moved it to 9. In fact, wow, over 9 is -121, and the first 5 over is -120. It's making me a little nervous. I did get that over first 5 over 5 -110. That's making me a little nervous. Beefy bets on the Orioles over a half hit in the first inning at -125. We are in the middle of our baseball breakdown. Jose, I know we dropped it off the top of the show, but there's a lot more cappers now in the chat. So I wouldn't mind if you could drop it one more time. We're doing a fundraiser for Noli No's Sons baseball team, trying to get them to the Field of Dreams, under 9 all-star baseball team in Los Angeles, California, Long Beach, California. And so if you can help out anything to Noli No's, who is a great, great friend of the show and of our squad, please do. It's right there in the chat. And it's a big, big thing that we do this for each other. It's very, very important that we, help in all situations with our family members. So there it is in the chat. Daby Cab, are you going to make anything official here for Orioles Blue Jays?
No, if you didn't have over 90% of the cash on you, I'd probably join you on the over. I joined first 5 over, but I'm not going to here.
And I have the batter versus pitcher action up here. And this is pretty much what led me to moving on this. Now, Chapman struggles. He does have a home run, struggles against Gibson. But Danny Jansen is hitting, 7-14, 5 for 7. Vladdy Guerrero, if he's in the lineup, is 3 for 6. Kiermaier, you need him in the lineup. He's hitting 316. Varsho 3 for 6 with a homer. And then on the other side against Kikuchi, Mountcastle 3 home runs and 9 at-bats, hitting 444 against them. Mateo hitting 444 against them. Santander with a home run, hitting 429 against them. So that kind of pushed me in that direction. All right. And Spenny saying the bottom of the lineup hits Gibson well. So look, these are the only 2 spots I'm on in MLB so far, and I don't expect that to be the end of it, but I'm on the over 5 -110, the over 9 -120. I bet them around 6 or 7 o'clock last night, and I tweeted them out. And that's that. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, 7:10 p.m. Eastern. It's perfect that Noli's in the chat for this because Noli seems to have innate ability to cap Cookie Carrasco, where I find Cookie Carrasco as one of the most difficult pitchers to cap. Part of the reason is that, he's a very likable guy, but I want him to fail most of the time, especially when he's with the Mets, because he's a favorite in most of these situations. Cal Quantrill is on the other side with the Cleveland Guardians, and he's pitching better than I've ever seen him pitch. You could say that's not saying much. 23 strikeouts and 15 walks. He's never had a good K to walk ratio. He relies on soft contact. He's allowed 5 home runs and 45 in the third. Coming off an 8-6 win at home over the Angels, another quality start for him. 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, 3 walks. Markel says shitty game. You know, one of the fun things about me, Markel, is there are 0 shitty games for me. I love capping bum fights. I love capping these games, but I can understand, you know, you thinking it's a shitty game. I get it, but and this isn't a bum fight. But the Guardians have lost their sticks without Jose Ramirez. Let's take a look at the line or the weather first and foremost here with this spot. Guardians Mets. You know, even just saying that and seeing Daby Cab here on a Friday and all of my friends and family in the chat, I love this shit so much. I'm so thankful for the opportunity. And I can't believe 24 hours from now, I'm going to be day drunk betting the Preakness. It's a nice life we live. This is a life we've chose. We've got to enjoy when it feels good. And it feels good with us on this massive winning streak right now.
Jose and me should join you. I know he's backstage.
I've asked him. He says you guys are tight because you got to head to the baseball game right after.
We don't got to do nothing. We can be a little late. We can come say hi and have a drink before we go.
Thank you. There's Canadian Capper in the house. I'd love that. I'd love for you guys to jump on. At least we got to get you guys to call a race for us. But let's talk weather here in New York. 12.5 miles per hour out to left field. It goes from 12 down to 9.7. 62 Fahrenheit down to 57. So it's not warm. Not warm at all. Beautiful, Jimmy. Jump on. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, Jimmy. I'll make sure that it works. Let's move over to the line history then for this spot, because this spot was screaming at me. We'll talk about Cookie Carrasco and, you know, the swollen right elbow he's been dealing with. I broke it all down, exactly what's happened to Cookie in the last few months. I want to fade him badly. He's not started since April 15th, but we'll go in all that. But the line just wasn't moving towards Cal Quantrill. In fact, this line was moving towards Cookie, and that threw me for a loop. I thought this would be a massive bet for us on Quantrill. The Guardians opened up at plus 132, and right now they're plus 131. So there's been a 1 cent move towards them. 1 cent, which makes very little sense to me. Let's take a look at this total here. This total we have opening up at 8.5 at some books. Pinnacle opened it up at 8.5. Pinnacle opened this up at 8. Jesus, I didn't realize that was 8.5. It opened up at 8, and it moved 8.5 4 minutes later. 8.5 to 9. So this has gone up a full run. Now it is juiced to the under, but it's gone up a full run. So we have no movement on the side and a big move to the over, which is saying that one of these pitchers is susceptible. Let's take a look at the cash here for this one. 68% of the tickets and 98% of the cash is on the Guardians. And the line's not moving. Well, what the hell? Do we have to bet the Mets now? I mean, that's just nuts. Then you have 65% of the tickets and 95% cash on the under. And it's gone up to 9. Joe Yergerman says Cookie facing another AA lineup tonight with the Guardians. Noli says Francona, when talking about his offense, says we're looking for reasons to be optimistic. Wow. Piker says the opener was attacked right away on the Guardian side, hasn't moved since. And there is Ron Crawford in the house. And Jeff Parker ready for tomorrow's races. I love it. Ron Crawford ready to rock with the play of the day on the Dodgers minus 120. We will discuss that spot here heavy. It's also a Jose game, and Tone Miggins is on the Dodgers team total over 4.5. So we'll talk all about that spot. But here, talk about Carrasco. So he went on the IL on April 16th. It's expected that he's going to need surgery, but he's pushing it off because he wants to be a part of this team right now. He took a cortisone injection. He says that it's responded very well. He threw 52 pitches over 4 scoreless innings in a rehab start Sunday in AA Binghamton, and he looked pretty good in that last start. Noli Knows makes a huge point here. Cookie going against his former team. He spent 12 years with Cleveland. So Quantrill has been very good on the road. 24 innings, 3.3 ERA, 250 opponents batting average. This line's moving towards the over. Guardians versus righties just 231, 644 OPS. Mets just 241, 709. Guardians bullpen very good. Mets bullpen being a little unlucky. Take it away for us, Daby Cab. Guardians, Mets.
I just want to say this, and shout out to our guy Joe. He said, Cookie facing another AA lineup tonight with the Guardians. Look, I was on the Guardians the other day, man, and I paid really close attention. This team is just awful at the plate. I mean, I know that we can look at numbers, but I don't care what numbers say. I think they might have the worst 1 through 9 lineup in all of baseball. I mean, they have no approach whatsoever when they go up there. They're just fucking taking cuts. Like, there's no approach to their at bats. It was one of the most disgusting things I've ever watched. And until I see like serious change within this lineup, I won't have anything to do with the Guardians unless I'm going against them. And that's not going to change for today. Even with Carrasco, I don't like getting off of people when they're, right off the IL or even 2 games off the IL. I still won't be interested. It's not my thing. But if I was to bet this, I would be on the Mets simply for the fact that I'm telling you, this Guardians team is fucking horrible at the plate.
98% of cash is on Cleveland and this line's not moving. It's possible that Piker's absolutely right with books that came with their line out before.
So Billy just supported what I said. So, and a lot of I'm sure Noli has heard people talk about approaches. Like an approach at a plate for a hitter is so important. And it was like systemic through this entire team, Jimmy. Like none of them had an approach. And Billy put in the chat, he said, Guardians have the worst or second worst chase rate in the MLB. That's why those motherfuckers just go up there and swing, man. They have no thought going through their at bat whatsoever. It's just hard to watch.
Oh, it bothered me so much that home run that cost me the first 5. I was
it the first 5 over that it cost you?
No, that tied the game up. It was 1-1 yesterday after 5.
Oh shit.
It was Cease 2 out, top of the 5th. And then the Tribe hit a homer here. Saturated says more disgusting than Jose's titty slap video. That's a really tough one.
I asked Jose, since he's going to be here, I said, we should just make it a thing, bro. Like, people enjoyed that. I won't throw it like full speed. Just let me hit you with one baseball.
There's my guy, Cody AV in the house. 604. I love it. Respect. Browns Hughes says, resident Cleveland fan, Dabby's right. Team can't hit for shit right now. Betting against the Tribe and unders are very profitable. I do not want to bet against Cal Quantrill. The total's gone from 8 to 9. I guess I'm going to have to stay off of this spot. I mean, I don't know what to... Trying very hard not to force something. So, Noli knows says he'll take you deep.
Everybody keeps saying it, man. I'm ready for anybody to step in. Jose, you better fucking have your glove. All I'm going to say is Jose's going to play catch with me, and he's going to come on here and publicly tell you that he'd never step in the batter's box with me.
God, I guess I've got to stay off. I have to stay off. Okay. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. I found this very similar. Oh, and I did go to Bet Online, and Piker's exactly right. There was an 8-cent move towards the Tribe until it stopped moving. So that was, from 1 o'clock to about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Okay. Let's move on to Mariners Braves. I found this a very similar situation. You have Bryce Miller going up against Bryce Elder, 2 spectacular young pitchers that have faced, every hurdle they've faced this year, they've cleared it with flying colors. Alfred saying that he's seeing 82% of money on the Braves and the line hasn't moved. Let's see. I do not have that. I have no money on the Braves. So we got a different situation here, Alfred, which makes capping very tricky. We've gone from Sports Insights and the Action Network, and that's, who we're using. But I have 56% of tickets on the Braves and only 27% of the cash. The big bets have come in on the Seattle Mariners. 44% of the tickets and 73% of the cash. So slightly more of the public on the Braves, but only a quarter of the money on the Braves. From a total side of things, the public on the under, 77% of the tickets, but just 41% of cash on the under. So big bets have come in on the over. So Bryce Miller going up against Bryce Elder. Let's take a look at the weather here first on Swish. We have 72 Fahrenheit, 5.5 miles left to right, but in at 5.5 miles per hour. Let's go over to the line history here for Mariners Braves. I do have it set up now, so I got the money line on one and the total on the other, so this should be a little faster, and I apologize for not doing that earlier. But here we go. For the money line, we have the Braves opening up at minus 135, and they're now at minus 143. So 8 cents of movement towards them. 8 cents of movement. So if you have Braves money, at least you see the market moving a little bit in that direction. Let's get this up here for the total in this spot at Pinnacle. Again, this was a spot that was kind of screaming to me that these pitchers would be good. But this opened up at 8.5 at minus 106, and I was staring at it nonstop. Within the first hour and a half, there was an 8-cent move to the over. That threw me for a loop. And then at 11:40 at night, it moved to 9. That also threw me for a loop. Right now, it's still juiced to the over. Why would it be juiced to the over? That's my question. And we see big bets already have moved on the over. Bryce Miller's looked fantastic. 2-0, 0.47 ERA, 0.42 whip, 18 Ks and 1 walk through 19. He's been spectacular. Hasn't allowed a home run. Coming off 7 innings of shutout ball, 3 Ks, no walks, 5-0 win at the Tigers. Only allowed 3 hits. Bryce Elder has faced some stiff competition and is rolling. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 5-2 loss at the Jays. That's a tough lineup. He got through it. And that's on the road. At home in 23 innings, he's a 1.96 ERA and 233 opponents batting average. Mariners are hitting just 229, 692 OPS versus righties. Braves 233, 734. Mariners bullpen is very, very good. 2.95 ERA, 1.25 whip. Braves 3.89 ERA, 1.21 whip. Shout out to my man Kent Davies in the house. What up, Kent? Taking a little break from gambling. It's good to take breaks sometimes. I hope my breaks are only just a few minutes at a time. But if you need it, take it. And we're always here to welcome you with open arms, Kent, my man. Take it away for us here, Daby Cab, Mariners, Braves.
Okay, so both teams have struggled a little bit of late. Mariners dropped 3 of their previous 4 games, while the Braves, they've lost 5 of their last 7 games. You said it. It's a battle of the Bryces. You got Miller and Elder here. Both have pitched great this season. My thing with Miller here is if you look more into his numbers, he struggled in the minors. He really a lot of his starts there, he was struggling. And I know he's got outstanding numbers, and I'm not taking anything away from that, but it is against the A's, the Astros, who were struggling even more when he faced them, and then the Tigers. Those are his first 3 starts. This is just a different team right here in the Braves. I think that the Braves, especially at home here, they're going to be able to handle Miller. He's going to have his first real challenge right here against this lineup, and I think they're going to get to him. Like I said, it was Pinnacle last night that was hanging such a low line. I think there's still even minus 130s out there in the first 5. That's a testament to what Miller's been doing. But I got the Braves in the first 5 on the money line here. I just, like I said, I think the Braves are going to get to him.
It's going to be a much, much more difficult spot than what he just faced in Detroit. Back-to-back road starts. Braves first 5. You got that at what, minus 130?
Let me pull my mine up really quick because like I said, it moved. I got minus 1. I got minus 127. It's sitting at minus 129 right now.
Piker says Braves are great versus righties. Lean first 5. Oh, aren't great. Yeah, they aren't great. 233, 734 OPS. Yeah, I thought I was going to be involved with Nunder with this pitching matchup, and obviously we see this sharp action on the over, and it's tricky. So just 22% of the tickets, but 44% of the cash in the market concerned about it. Then you have 44% of the tickets, 73% of the cash on the Mariners. if this was a spot where the line hadn't moved at all, I'd be on the Mariners here. I'm not going to go up against Cab on the Braves first 5 minus 127. Unfortunately, this is another no-go spot for me. BABIP for Miller 156. That's wild. Piker says possibly bullpen related on the total because the Braves bullpen's been a little suspicious lately. Hipster Jesus wanting to talk basketball. We have Brizzy joining us here in a little while, and we will talk about that. But I'm off. Let's talk about the next spot on the board. 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Rockies 19-25, 9-13 on the road at the Texas Rangers 26-17, 13-8 at home. We're at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. See if they will leave the roof open. They won't. There's heavy rain expected early, so this roof will be closed in Texas. That helps under bettors. Let's see what's going on with the line history at Pinnacle. Cash-wise, we have the Rangers opening at minus 191. They're now minus 224. I couldn't attack this right away because they were waiting to confirm that Kaufman would be pitching for the Rockies. But I could understand why this was going to be a big move towards Rangers, and that's exactly what has happened. Let's see what we have for total here for this one. Sorry, I don't know what the hell happened to it. Here we go. The total for this Kaufman Perez start at Pinnacle opened up at 9 minus 111 to the over. It's gone to 9.5 a bunch of times, and every time it's come back to 9. It's still juiced to the over, so we have 6 cents of movement to the over. 6 cents of movement to the over, and a big move towards the Rangers. Let's go to the line or the cash flow for this one and see if it all correlates here with the Rangers. And, it doesn't. We see a lot of love for these big dogs, and, they have a positive ROI so far this year. Why wouldn't there be from the big syndicates? And 34% of tickets, 65% of the cash, now 33 and 65 on the Rockies. 73% of tickets and 99% of cash on the over. 99% of cash on the over, and this total's not moving. Very, very interesting. We touched on it a little bit, Rem, when we were told about 10 or 15 minutes ago, but I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move. You have Carl Kaufman. Carl Kaufman in his first MLB start. I've told you guys some of the angles that hurt me in the past. The main one was there's two. They're both in play in the last 2 days. One is you have a terrible bullpen having a bullpen day. So I would expect them to get lit up. They seem to never get lit up. My ROI is just horrible. So now I will never fade a bad bullpen on a bullpen day. I'll only bet on them, and I almost never do that. I got to get better at doing that. Then these pitchers that come from the PCL league with these ludicrous ERAs. This year, Carl Kaufman has a 7.78 ERA and a 1.78 WHIP. Believing that they're going to get immediately touched in the majors has also given me a negative ROI. So I don't do that either. Carl Kaufman, second-round pick in 2019 draft out of Michigan. University of Michigan. Markel on the Rangers -2. You also have Martin Perez coming off bad starts. In his past 2 starts, he's only gone 8 2/3. He's allowed 11 earned runs. He's only struck out 5, and he's walked 5 as well. He's been incredible at home, but he's been very lucky and fortunate. They're hitting .311 off of him, but he's only at 11 2/3, hitting 1.54 ERA. The Rockies don't hit lefties. 239, 677 OPS, and the Rangers hit righties hard. The Rockies bullpen has been pretty good, 3.91 ERA, 1.39 WHIP, and the Rangers bullpen 4.48 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, being a little disappointing. Vitalis says, Jimmy, I think the Rangers at home in first 5 have the highest units to the over in first 5 game total. That doesn't mean Kaufman will give it up just numbers. I get it. Look, I completely understand why anybody would be all over Martin Perez here. For me, the past 2 starts, maybe he gets right at home. I would be happy to bet him to get right at home if I got a decent price, but I will not fade these pitchers coming up from PCL that look trash only because it's hurt me so much in the past not because of this individual situation. Take it away for us, Daby Cab. I'm very interested in your take here, especially with the PCL numbers for Carl Kaufman and the possible bounce back from Martin Perez, the perfect man for the job. Dabra Cadabra, who was drafted in Major League Baseball, signed by a Major League Baseball team. Take it away, Daby. Rockies, Rangers.
You know, I like what Billy put in there. Texas 15-5-1 to the first 5 over at home. That's one of the bets that I've had success making this MLB season is the Rangers first 5 over at home. I've been there a lot. I leaned on that this game, but I kind of think Perez is going to bounce back after the poor two starts right here because, like you said, Colorado, this team, their splits against lefties is just horrible. I know you said it, but I'll say it again. 239 batting average, 677 OPS. And on the road, they're even worse. 228 batting average, 645 OPS. I don't see Colorado getting to him here. And with the Rocky starting this rookie, you said it, he's been terrible in AAA. But it's not always something that translates. Look at Miller. We were just talking about him. I said he was terrible in AAA, and look at how fucking good he's been. He's been lights out, unbelievable his first 3 starts. So I think this is a spot where the price puts me off of Perez. Because what he was doing his last 2 starts was he was leaving the balls way over the plate. It wasn't a mechanical thing. It wasn't a drop in velocity. He was just throwing meat over the plate. And that's not something I really like here. So I'm off this game. I would go first 5 over if I had a free bet.
Yeah, we're going to keep hammering certain things home, something we do on the show because it's crucial that we not only win, but get better and better and better every year and more consistent. And it's the mistakes that I have to cut out. It's the most important thing, not what are you winning at. To me, it's not as important as what are you losing at. And so I do not want to be involved with Carl Kaufman. I don't want to say, because I lose fading these pitchers with terrible numbers in the PCL, I'm going to back him today and watch him get lit up and smoked,
And even though I don't have a bet, here's more good information here. The Rangers, they have the second best run line record at home. That's 13-8. They also have the second best run line record following a loss this year at 11-5. And then you look at the Rockies, they have the second worst run line after a loss at 9-16 this year.
Yeah, this is a no-go for me. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City Royals 14-31, but 8-14 on the road. So Peter Loshak talked a lot about it last year, how the Oakland A's were a good bet when they left Oakland Coliseum last year. Whether you wanted to focus on their team total overs or take them on the huge underdog lines, however you wanted to do it. It's possible that the Royals do the same thing. The Royals will get 7,000 fans to Kauffman, but it was sold out in San Diego, and they played well. So something for us to keep an eye out. Now 8-14 on the road. If you bet $100 on the Royals every road game, you'd be laughing way up. Maybe not way up, but decent up. We're in Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. Let's take a look at the weather in this one. Cold or, not warm, 61 Fahrenheit down to 55, 7 miles per hour left to right. By the, 2 hours in, it's actually out to right field. Line movement wise, this opened up with the White Sox as minus 135 favorites. They've dropped to minus 123 favorites. That, makes sense to me. I'm very excited to hear Daby Cab break down Kopech because he's a very tricky pitcher to figure out at this point. So let's move on to the I didn't do the total. Sorry, that was the so we have a move towards the Royals. The Royals have gone from plus 125 to plus 113. So a 12-cent move towards the Royals. Do I have this wrong? Why do I have okay, no, they have this set up wrong here on this site. Intimating that KC's at home, but that's fine. So the Royals have gone from plus 125 to plus 113. Very difficult to back Greinke on the road. He is coming off a decent start at Milwaukee, but it's a very difficult proposition to trust him on the road. Let's take a look at the total for this one, Greinke versus Kopech. This opened up at 9.5 juice to the under, and it's now at 9. There's been times that it's gone back to 9.5, but it's back at 9 at Pinnacle. Back at 9 at Pinnacle. So we have a move to the under and a move to the Royals. Let's see if the cash flow works with this one here. So cash flow, 66% of the tickets and 97% of the cash is on the Kansas City Royals. And that's just nuts. It's nuts to me. Now the market is moving towards them. 97% of cash on them. 68% of tickets, 81% cash on the over. That's just gone down. It's now 67 and 78 on the over. And the market's clearly moving towards the under. There's picks from Dave in the house. It's only the White Sox and screw up my auto fade of Greinke on the road. Trash team. JP just says, I've reached the maximum number of losses I'm willing to take betting on the White Sox. Greinke, 1-4, 5.01 ERA, 1.24 whip, 32 Ks, 7 walks. He's been decent this year. I know it's 5.01 ERA, but he's been decent. He's coming off finally a decent start on the road. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 4-3 loss at the Brewers. But on the road, in just 18 2/3, opponents are hitting 308 off of him, and he has a 7.71 ERA, 0-2. Michael Kopech, who I don't know what we're going to get from him. 4 2/3, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, but 6 walks in that 5-1 loss home versus Houston. He's been terrible at home, 5.75 ERA, but opponents only hitting 222 against them, but with power and too many walks. Royals versus righties, just 229, 663 OPS. White Sox, 242, 692 OPS. Both bullpens have been bad this year and are expected to continue to be so, but the White Sox bullpen has been improving. Liam Hendricks is back. Take it away for us here. Daby Cab, Royals, White Sox.
Man, you look at Kopech, man, he's 1-2 in his 8 starts this season. He's only had 2 quality starts, Jimmy. That's just terrible. His ERA, I know you see the 5.74. He's only given up 38 hits and 42.1 innings of work, so it's not the worst, but he's got the 28 walks, that he leads the team in walks with those 28. And he's also allowed 12 home runs. When you find a pitcher that's walking people, that's the reason why he's giving up home runs. He's getting behind in counts. And then he's piping a fucking fastball or he's piping a pitch down the middle. It's not necessarily because this guy's, not good stuff. It's because he's behind in all of his accounts. And one of the main things for me as a pitcher is you've got to get ahead in the count. Even though Perez had a rough last 2 starts for the Rangers, the reason he's so good and the reason he's been so good of late is because he throws first pitch strike every fucking hitter. And then all of your stuff can just eat and work away after that. He doesn't do this ever. He's behind in every single count, and it's just frustrating as hell to watch. So, with that being said alone, I would probably back the Royals here, but I'm not getting behind the Royals with 97% of the cash, especially not behind Greinke on the road, too. Greinke on the road, where'd I go? I got it somewhere here in my notes. I want to say his ERA is north of 7. Just not good. Yeah, it's a little over 7 on the road. And when you look at the bullpen here, that doesn't help favor either of these teams. So I got nothing to do with this. I'd probably look Kansas City just because of what I said. I don't like pitchers who get behind in the account, and he does it every fucking hitter.
Yeah. What do you think about these bats are so weak right now?
Yep.
On either side. It almost feels like a chance for them to get right. You have 67% of tickets, 78% of cash on the over. I wish there was bigger bets on the under. So it's 33% of tickets and 22% cash on the under. If that was 22% of tickets and 33% cash, I would bet the under. I would bet it almost immediately. I think Greinke is going to progress to the mean on the road. He's still going to be vulnerable on the road. I think Kopech should progress to the mean at home, especially against teams that have no bats. But even saying all that, it just doesn't correlate properly.
I mean, you can make any hitter good when you're behind in the account. That's what I keep getting on. When somebody's sitting dead red on a pitch, it's just a lot fucking easier to hit.
No doubt about it. I'm completely with you here. But it's a cool night in Chicago. It's going to be empty.
IC said this game is a shit show. He's going to take a shit and stay away.
however anybody wants to handle these games, if they want to focus more on games that are more appealing to them. I love these bum fights, and this is a clear spot where everybody would be betting, the over here, and I think that the under is that sneaky bet. Why would Pinnacle move it to 9 right now? I mean, they're opening up their arms to over cash. I don't know. The problem is it just doesn't all correlate, and I've got to keep it clean. But I'm telling you, if that flipped, if that was 22% of the tickets and 33% cash on the under, I would be on the under in this. The White Sox bullpen's getting better. The Royals bullpen's getting better. I just don't know if I can do it. Let me just see here. Cheshire is saying don't do it. Not even. Look, I understand that. This is a spot where everybody's going to look one way, and that makes the other way more appealing to me. That's just,
that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, I think the number is way too low. They're trying to get you to bet. I agree with that completely. If hanging a 9 here, they want you to bet the over. They probably want us to bet the first 5 over. Cause I mean, either of these pitchers could easily give up 5 runs and nobody would blink an eye.
Nobody's going to be at this game. Lucky Power says it's raining right now. It's cold, wet. No one's going to be there. These teams are combined 30 and 60. The fact that this just went to 9 screams to me that the under is the play. Screams to me that the under is the play. Okay. I think that I will be at. You know what? We'll see if I have enough action. But at this point, this is correlating enough, close enough to me. I'm going to be on the full game under 9 in this spot. It's going to be a sleepy, garbage baseball game. No one's going to be there. No one's going to care. There's going to be no offense from these two, horrific teams. Look at, Royals 229, 663. White Sox 242, 692. So I expect at this point to be on the under 9. We're going to do a review at the end, and if I have enough action, I can let it go. We move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 10-35, 5-15 on the road at the Houston Astros, 24-19, 11-11 at home at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Ken Waldachuk, as the star of the Walking Dead, Sharpie calls him, Ken Waldachuk on the bump. 1-2, 7.02 ERA, 1.83 WHIP. He's looked awful. Last start, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were in 5 Ks, 5 walks, and a 9-7 extra inning win at home over the Rangers. I have a vividness bias of thinking that the A's play the Astros every game all year. And then so whenever they play each other, I always have to go right to the pitcher batter, or not even the pitcher batter, but go look at what's happened when they pitched at Minute Maid Park. For some reason, I remember Waldachuk getting destroyed at Minute Maid, but it was in 2022, and he lasted 2 2/3 and 5 earned runs he allowed. So he doesn't have a huge story there. On the road, he's been horrific. 9.15 ERA, just 19 2/3, 313 opponent's batting average. He's going up against Brandon Bielak. Brandon Bielak is a middling prospect, was 11th round pick in the 2017 draft out of Notre Dame. And he has been pretty good. He's earned this opportunity to be here. As a 21-year-old, he was a low A rookie ball. 22-year-old, he went to high A and double A and looked very good at both those stops. Like, as good as you could look. A and rookie ball, he had a 0.80 ERA, 0.77 WHIP. When he went to high A and double A, he had a 2.23 ERA and a 1.15 WHIP. Then at 23, he went to double A and triple A. And he still looked good enough, 4.22 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. So then as a 24-year-old, he got a cup of coffee in the show. That was the pandemic year. He got lit up, 6.75 ERA, 1.75 WHIP in 32 innings. So, 26 strikeouts, 17 walks, walked too many batters. Then the next year as a 25-year-old, he did the same. He, pitched a little bit in AAA, was excellent, and went up to the majors and was better. Then as a 26-year-old in 2022, same deal, was very strong in AAA and was even better in the majors. And this now, as a 27-year-old, he wasn't great in AAA. He was okay, but he has improved every single time he's come up in Major League Baseball. So here's an 11th round pick, middling prospect who really deserves this opportunity. And I expect the team to fight for him as they've watched him come up the right way. That's Brandon Belak, 3.29 ERA, 1.83 whip, very high whip, but has kept the 3 home runs and 13 and 2/3. This guy doesn't have elite stuff, but he's good. In his last start, 4 strikeouts, no walks, 5 innings, 1 earned run, a 3-1 loss at the White Sox. The A's rating just 214, 660 versus righties. The Astros just 245, 729 versus lefties. We've already heard that Jose Altuve will be making his season debut in the lineup tonight. A's bullpen, 6.62 ERA, 1.69 whip. Astros bullpen, 3.15 ERA, 1.18 whip. The A's bullpen over 9 innings allows 3.47 more runs per 9 innings than the Astros. I mean, that's just absolutely nuts. Let's go to the line history here for this one. I have the total up, so why don't we start there? This opened up at 9.5, minus 116 to the under. It's now minus 108 to the under. So there's been a 8-cent move to the over. 8-cent move to the over. Let's take a look at the line for the money line here. Move over here. The money line for this one, Waldecott versus Belak. We have the Astros opening up at minus 230, and the first move was towards Oakland. We see that time and time again. It's the 2019 Browns. Sharp seem to be all over them, especially on the road. And there's been a 4-cent move to the Astros. So a 4-cent move to the Astros, a 10-cent move to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have 22% of the tickets, 31% of the cash on the A's. Sort of par for the course, but the line's not moving towards Astros. Then 83% of tickets and 70% of cash on the over. The books have shown some concern. They've moved it 10 cents to the over. Take it away for us here at Daby Cab, Oakland A's, Houston Astros, Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas.
I got you. Man, look, I think this is a perfect time for Altuve to come back. And shout out to our guy Razor. He said he hates Altuve mostly because of his first name. But Jose Altuve, man, he's a big part in this lineup. Not just because of his production, because of his attitude, because of the way he makes the team flow, the chemistry that gets going with him. And the Astros, they appear they finally turned that corner. I mean, it's a little early to tell. But they've reeled off 4 straight wins. 7 of 8 games here as they continue this homestand right now. In that in their last 8 games, Houston's hitting 270 as a team, which is outstanding. They also have 7 home runs in that span. I mean, they've been doing great, and they're squaring off against Waldecott here, who has an ERA of over 9 on the road this season. I don't see any reason why the Astros' power numbers won't increase here. He's also given up 9 home runs in only 4 road games, which is just terrible. That's way too much right there. So I would maybe even look at some props like over 1.5 bases for some of your Astros hitters here. And I would probably just go ahead and lay the run line if I was going to bet this, but I'm off.
Yeah, I told you guys a couple of days ago I was looking at the Astros to win the division. They're minus 115. They're now minus 125 to win the division. 2 games back of the Rangers. Rangers is quite. I really don't believe in. I don't believe that. Well, I shouldn't say I don't. I certainly don't believe they'll play at a 605 winning percentage for the rest of the year.
He's like Beetlejuice. If we keep saying his name, I feel like he's about to show up.
Billy Frieder says the other Jose Abreu has yet to hit this season. When he does, he will hit for weeks. Extremely streaky hitter. Proof Bet says, one hole going 0-2 tonight with the Celtics. So a little peek at the future here. And speak of him, and he shows up.
That's what I'm saying, like Beetlejuice.
Let's bring on young Jose Bloody Tits Bouquet. Jose, first off, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm getting just eviscerated today by the chat. I haven't done anything. What did I do today? I didn't lose $5,000 on the 76ers just throwing away like it was nothing, and I said that you should hedge at plus 200. I didn't do that. I don't know why everyone's mad at me.
Jose, A's Astros. Your thoughts on Brandon Belak and old Ken Waldekuk?
I didn't have any thoughts on this. I was ready for the next game, I'll be honest. Yeah, I said the Astros are bet on when Altuve comes. It's just hard to bet on them minus 260, you know.
What do you think about the Astros to win the division now minus 125?
You said that was a better price than you got it earlier?
It was minus 115 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, they're going to win this division. You know, I think they win this division going away not easily. The Rangers are a legit squad.
Go Rangers. Let's go. I'm slowly starting to believe. Shut your mouth. Don't shake your head.
They're a good squad, but they're not better than anyone in the AL East.
I will make your other tip bloody when you get to my house tonight.
Yeah, no, I think the Astros win the division, yeah, but I don't believe anyone else. I mean, you've heard what I've said the last couple of days. How about the Cardinals? I don't know what they are to win the division. I don't have the futures odds up like that, but they'll be probably decent plus money price since they're in last place, and they'll be climbing out of that bitch.
The Cardinals to win the division are plus 375.
Yeah, that's the bet I'd make.
Well, then, are you gonna make it?
No, I don't have my books. Don't have futures odds like that. Unfortunately, I cannot. I would.
Wow. I'm getting a full dollar better than Billy Friedrich. That's wild. Ron Lofton, what up, my man? So I guess we leave this alone. A's 15-4-1 to the over away. Houston 13-8-1 to the over at home, says Piker. And that's the only thing that's moved, right? There's been a 10-cent move to the over. And it seems kind of a public spot. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Brandon Belak's okay here. This just does not appeal to me. It does not appeal to me. So we will move on here. We have Jose joining us for the next game as well as the Red Sox game. So we'll keep Jose on board here. Let's talk about the next spot on the board. Los Angeles Dodgers 28-17, 11-10 on the road at the St. Louis Cardinals 19-26, 9-14 at home. Tone Miggins has already given us the Dodgers team total over 4.5 at minus 109. And Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Spreadsheet play today, Los Angeles Dodgers. The spreadsheet coming off a loss with the Jays yesterday, minus 1 plus 109, is 12-11, 52.2%, plus 0.86 units, ROI plus 3.74%, average line minus 102. Ron Crawford has given us a spreadsheet play today on every single show that we've had. And there's been some pushes. That's why it's only at 23. But he also wanted me to track everything for it, and I love it. I love the attitude of Ron. He's a great friend of the show, and that's where he stands now. He is on the Los Angeles Dodgers here this evening, and shout out to our friend Ron Crawford. All right. Rocco Rogers also on the Dodgers team total over. Piker is on the Dodgers money line at minus 125. A lot of love for the LA Dodgers here. Let's discuss this spot. We have Tony Gonsolin going up against Steven Matz. So this was a spot where I could not comprehend the line. I looked at this. I was like, who in the world would want to back Steven Matz in this spot? And the line moves towards the Cardinals. That's scary shit. Very, very scary shit in Major League Baseball. And because of that, there was no way I could have anything to do with these Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's start with the line history. This line history is absolutely nuts to me. Absolutely nuts. And I'm excited to hear Jose's breakdown on this spot. Dodgers opened up at minus 130. They're now minus 116 against Steven Matz. Cardinals opened up plus 120. They're now plus 107. This line has just gone in the Cardinals' direction nonstop. All it has is gone in the Cardinals' direction. Now, I was appalled, completely shocked. Let's take a look first off at the weather. We didn't touch on the weather in St. Louis. 68 Fahrenheit, 10.2 miles per hour left to right, goes down to 6.9 miles per hour. Then we talked about the move towards the Cardinals. Let's take a look at the total here. This total opened up at 9. In fact, it opened up at 9 and it only stayed there for 8 minutes before it moved to 8.5. but it's back at 9. Clear early action on the under, but it is back at 9. So we have from the opening line, we have a 2-cent move, 1 cent or 2 cent move to the over, and a huge move towards the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's get over to the cash flow in this one. We have 31% of the tickets and 57% of the cash on the Cardinals. Clear, sharp action on them. Then we have 73% of the tickets and 62% cash on the over. Gonsolin has been great in 19 innings of work, 16K, 6 walks. Probably wants to walk a little less, but he has a 0.95 whip and looks very strong. Coming off a 4-0 win at home over the Padres, he is not allowed an earned run either on the road in 9 1/3 innings. And Steven Matz coming off a nice performance at the Red Sox, 5 1/3, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks, 1 walk. He's looked atrocious this year, 5.62 ERA, 1.61 whip. The Dodgers don't get hits against lefties, but when they do, they go yardstick, 199 average, but 724 OPS. Cards are smashing righties, 264, 782 OPS. And both bullpens have been vulnerable of late. Jose Bouquet, say hey, play of the day. Take it away.
Yeah, this has been my thing for the last week now. It's just Cardinals. I think they're one of the more undervalued teams in baseball right now. Is starting to correct itself slowly. I cashed on a triple up on the Cardinals yesterday. I cashed on a triple up on the Cardinals the day before, I think. Cardinals again for me. First 5 full game team total over. First 5 team total over 2.5 again. I just think they're a good baseball team right now. It took Kenley Jansen shitting down his pants in 2 back-to-back games for the Cardinals to finally figure their shit out. And, you know, I don't know exactly what the change is. Maybe it's Nolan Arenado finally starting to hit. Maybe it's their whole lineup just becoming in fuego all of a sudden. But first this month in weighted runs created plus against righties, second full season. I will respect the Dodgers against lefties full season. They've struggled out of the gate, but last month, 8th, 134 weighted runs created plus. I like the over in this game, but the line moving down definitely scared me. So I'm just not going to overcomplicate it. I'll stick to what I've been doing the last couple of days. Cardinals. I've been doing this the opposite way with the Pirates too. I've been fading the Pirates for a little bit now. I can't fade them today, unfortunately, because they're a little too juiced to -170 Arizona Diamondbacks. So no thanks. But yeah, I'll keep betting on the Cardinals. I bet it yesterday with Wainwright, and of course, it doesn't make you feel great when Adam Wainwright's on the bump. But thank God the Cardinals offense decided to put their dick out on the table. I think that my guy Steven Matz here can pitch well, and I think the Cardinals win this game.
Did you tweet out your action, or are we line shopping?
No, you can line shop for me. Last night, like you mentioned, plus 113 for the Cardinals, all the way down to plus 105. I'm assuming it's going to keep going that way. So I like the Cardinals. I'm just going to keep backing them.
I will line shop as we go, but let's hear what Dabra Cadabra has to say about this spot here. Dodgers, Cardinals, high-profile spot at Busch Stadium. Take it away, Dabby.
I would have put the Dodgers at like -150 or -160 here, which is probably the main thing that's scaring me in this spot. You know, I know the Cardinals have started to get hot, but the Dodgers have too. They've been dominating. They've won 7 of their last 9 games. They swept the Padres in that span. And I know, like I said, the Cardinals have been playing better, and Jose's been touching on it. But at Busch Stadium here, they've still only won 9 of 23 games this season. They're one of the worst home squads in Major League Baseball. I'm sure we'll see change in that, but that's what we've got so far. And Gonsolin, he's been absolutely lights out. You know, he's only given up, 3 runs in his 19 innings of work this season. And Matz has been unreliable at best. I mean, he's not been good. 19 hits in his last 15 innings. He's not missing barrels. He's finding the barrel. It's been ugly work for him with the 5.61 ERA. I don't know. You also look at the Cardinals have lost 6 of his 8 starts this season. I get what you're saying about Cardinals being better here. Maybe I'd go with the team total if I was going to bet them and not on their side here, because I could only look Dodgers.
And the fact that this line is skewed so far away from what you expected, same with Piker, is going to keep you off of it?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, this is just moving so quickly towards the Cardinals. Hard to find plus money.
I've accepted the fact that if the line is just not where you think you should bet it, you should just bet on the other side. Jimmy, you say it often that you talk about how if you were a better capper and you were on one side and then you go to the other side, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I've kind of just started doing at the end of the day. I have not agreed with a lot of the lines with the Cardinals. Like I said, Wainwright last night, I thought that line was weird. And luckily, like I said, the offense came out and showed out there. But I just think this is just one of those things.
Well, we also had TJ Trackett last year, and I was hitting it 70% if I would have flipped when I didn't. Not times when I did flip, but times when I said, I should flip, but I don't have the balls. 70% win rate had I have flipped.
And a rare time, mark this down in history, a rare time where Razor and I are in agreement. Gambler's first glance also on the Cardinals as well.
Oh, get off his dick.
All over Razor's dick. Jose Bouquet. That's what they say. I've got both at even money on Bovada, which is great. And by the way, Dave, Grape, Uncrustables are the fucking goats. Don't even go there, my man. By the way, I love the chat today. You guys are on fire today. You guys can say whatever you guys want about me, because I promise you, I say so much worse to myself. So nothing you guys can say can hurt me.
Let's just.
Breathe, bro. So this is gonna be
What was that, Cabby? I'm sorry to interrupt my
I just said that's just sad. We don't want to hear that, Jose. Have some self-confidence.
I do. That's my power. That's my secret power, Cab. I have none.
I'm not. Okay, that's your secret power.
Both of our heads turned the same way when he said that.
Jose, I can find some pretty nice numbers though for you. First 5 team total over 2.5 at plus 121 at Pinnacle.
It's beautiful. You said plus 121 for the first 5?
First 5 team total over at Pinnacle right now is plus 121. First 5 team total over 2.5. Then we got you the first 5 at plus 105 available at Will Hill, and the full game at plus 107, and that is available at Pinnacle.
Let's go Cardinals. This is going to be a fun night. I've been sweating Cardinals games for the last week.
And you keep climbing. So keep doing what you're doing. Again, I can't hammer home enough. And part of the fun of watching some of the cappers, dig huge holes and try and climb out of them, you see what starts working for them. And I can't hammer home enough that you have to outthink baseball and the market, and you have to use the mistakes that the public makes and what the books are telling you. It's so crucial. And I can't wait to see where we all end up this year. And I expect us to succeed and us to get stronger and stronger as the lines get more and more clear. ASDF with a Patrice O'Neill quote. God, Patrice O'Neill, what a goat he was. Says, my self-esteem is so low that it's high.
True. I don't know who that is, but I like that quote.
Oh, I don't know Patrice O'Neill.
Is that Steve Urkel?
Oh God. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on here. Jose, first 5 team total over 2.5 plus 121, first 5 plus 105, and full game plus 107 on the Cardinals. Can you believe that somebody would call Patrice O'Neill Urkel? I mean, that's just you got to pull him off for that one. Ron Crawford and Razor Sharp picks going heads up. Spreadsheet play today on the Dodgers minus 120, and Gambler's first glance on the Cardinals money line. What a fun game now, seeing everybody's action. But Dabra and myself not involved. Is that right?
No, I'm off. Nope.
We move on to 9:38 p.m. Eastern. The Minnesota Twins, 24-20, 10-12 on the road at Los Angeles Angels, 23-22, 10-9 at home Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. We'll start here with the weather in LA. 68 Fahrenheit, 9.4 miles per hour out to center. Stays between 9.4 and 7.9 miles per hour. Let's go into the line history here for this one. Twinkies, Angels. Oops, sorry. Here we go. Oh, it's why they're saying Pinnacle doesn't have a line on this one. See, because I'm on first five. Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. The full game money line here. Let's take a look at what it is for Joe Ryan, Denver's. So here's another spot on the board where how in the world would Joe Ryan and the Twins against Reed Demers be put at this number? I was like, what world are we living in where this is almost a pick'em? Not quite a pick'em. The Angels were plus 108 and the Twins were minus 117. 6 minutes later, the Twins went to minus 116. So somebody saw the line pop out and said, oh, what a chance about the Angels. I mean, that's nuts to me. And it makes me have to stop because after that minus 116, this line didn't move towards the Twins for 6 hours and 18 minutes. That's just absolutely nuts to me. Not only that, but we have a 6-cent move. That's it. 6 cents of movement. That's absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at the total and see if that helps shine some light on this spot. We have opening up, and it really does because this line opened up at 8.5 and it's at 8. Now, it took a while to get to 8. It didn't move till 8 till 9:17 this morning, but that does shine some light. So the market thinks that Detmer is going to have a good start. BJ says Angels, clear market. Fernando Mendoza on the Angels money line. Andrew G telling us Celtics are now minus 10. It's crazy. Fireside looking at the first 5 under. And Wine Time Sports. This is why it's so helpful. You know, I was thinking about what we talked about yesterday when you were talking about capping the capper. And I think I said what I did. It's not, it's not that it's not crucial to cap the capper. But for me, I just want to listen. Just listen. I need to listen. I need to read the chat. I need to hear what all of our cappers have to say because we have certain cappers that are experts with certain teams, and I need to know what they think about a situation. I would prefer not to watch any other show other than what we do here working together that helps me out because I don't want anything else in my head except for the work that I've done and the work that we're doing here together. And that's no disrespect to any other capper. It's just my preference. I just don't want to get swayed in any direction except for what we're doing here together. And maybe that clarifies it a little bit. Wine Time says Angels will win this game. This is wild. Joe Ryan going up against Reed Detmer. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this very, very strange market. We have 80% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on the Minnesota Twins. Wow. Then we have 65% of tickets and 78% cash on the under. Absolutely wild. Joe Ryan, 6-1, 2.16 ERA, 0.84 whip. He's been excellent this year. Last start, he was phenomenal. 11-1 win at home versus the Cubs. 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk, no earned runs, 4 hits allowed. On the road, he's been excellent. 31 innings, 3-1, 2.03 ERA, 188 opponent's batting average. He's gone into Yankee Stadium and shut them down. Where hasn't he gone? Reed Detmers, coming off an 8-6 loss at Cleveland, finally had a good start. 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks. We've seen him throw a no-no out of nowhere. BJ's all over the Angels. Wine Time all over the Angels. Joe Yurkovich says Angels flying back home, no day off from the East Coast. Rocco Rogers on Detmers over 5.5 Ks. Atlanta Wake and Bake agreeing with the way, agreeing that do the work, talk it over, listen, but then, that's all I want to do. No disrespect to any of the other cappers. It's just the way I succeed. Okay. Twins bullpen, 3.85 ERA, 1.30 whip. Angels bullpen, 3.56 ERA, 1.19 whip. There's been a lot of talk about my mistaking the Angels bullpen for a good bullpen, and Jose had the stats to back that up, that they've been bad the last few weeks, whereas I kind of have these rose-colored glasses on. 14 2/3 of action for Reed Detmers at home, 5.52 ERA. Opponents hitting 311 against them. Absolutely wild. Joe Yurkovich says under spot. It's wild. Dabber, can you shine some light on this wild situation market-wise between the Twins and the Angels?
Well, and you've said it, man, with the market. This is kind of like that Dodgers game. I'm going to cap it how I cap this game, but the market's going to dictate. Maybe I need to be more like what Jose was just saying. Maybe I should be ready to go against what I think, because obviously I'm going to cap this towards Joe Ryan and the Twins, and I'll give reasons why. But I'm not going to bet it just because the lines, it just doesn't make sense. It seems like they're begging for the money. Twins, they have the third highest run line winning percentage as a road favorite, 58.3%. They're 17-14 overall as run line favorites this year. And the Angels, they're not doing very good. 7-12 run line record, 36.8% at home, and a 9-13 run line record, 40.9% after a win. I just think this is a good spot for Minnesota because they've been rested, so it's not a hard travel spot like we talked about. They've had the day off, so they should be rested and ready to go. Detmer's against this team, against the Twins. He's 0-1 with a 6 ERA in his 2 appearances, 9 innings pitched. I think he's going to struggle here a little bit. I think this will be a good spot for Ryan to have an electric start. I would only be looking with the Twins here, but again, I'm not betting it because the line should be -150, -160 in my opinion.
It's crazy. It's crazy, and maybe Vitalis nailed it, saying the first 5 under 4.5.
Yeah.
Now the Twins aren't at home here, Vitalis, but I get it. Shout out to Sammy Culmer. I love seeing you cash and succeed. And I've asked for a while to get Sammy on this show. He's a hell of a capper, and thank you for thinking of us with the dono. It means a ton to us, and we are all here at Pub very interested in having you on camera when you're ready to rock. So shout out to our guy, Sammy Culmer. BJ on the Angels, 1 unit. Mr. Always Profit says, let's get that first 5 under here. And Sean Pulliam says, sneaky Nerfy. So that's a Nerfy parlay of the day, Minnesota, Cleveland, and Philly. All good, Vitalis. Respect. Much love, man. And North Ender says, just track the bets that you say off because of fishy lines. And if you're staying off winners, add them back. That's what I know that's what happens, North Ender. So I know that's what happens
today.
And TJ tracked it at 70%. It's very hard for me to flip and back read Detmers here. That's all. And but I'll know I'm better. I'll know I'm better when I can do that. Fat Cat Ninja wanting a Sammy and Sharpie tennis show. I second that. Let's get that going. That's a great idea. I think they can make that a lot of fun. I'm totally down with that. Let's keep that. Jose, can you keep that for our next meeting? So Twinkies, Angels. I'd like to take a look at the line movement on the first 5 total, because the one thing that's clear is that the market thinks that Reed Detmer is going to have a good start, right? I mean, we can all agree on that. That must be the case here. And the 4.5 has gone to 4. 4.5 has gone to 4. I'd like to see when that moved to 4, if I had any chance that I did. That was available this morning at 4.5. God damn. That didn't move to 4 till 9:17 a.m. Oh, that's upsetting. Sometimes you don't figure out what the right angle is until you talk it out, and unfortunately, it's a late game at 9:38 p.m. I love your look on the under 4.5, Vitalis. I think that's a great look. And JPJ saying Sammy's the man. Remember that big NBA run last year too? That run was nuts that he had last year. It was like 20. I think he got to 20 straight. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm off this spot, but that was a fascinating breakdown. We have 2 games left, and your next one includes the Boston Red Sox, 24-20, 9-9 on the road at the San Diego Padres, 20-24, 11-13 at home. We're at Petco Park in San Diego, California. And if the Red Sox are involved, we must bring back the host of Say Hey Plays of the Day, young Jose. My tits are blushing bouquet. Take it away. Red Sox, Padres, and take it away with James Paxton. And don't give us the full breakdown, but tell the chat a little bit about what you've said about James Paxton, because it is a big surprise that his velocity would be where it's at right now. He looked very good in that 8-6 loss at home versus the Cardinals. 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 9 Ks, 1 walk. Take it away for us, please, Jose. James Paxton on the hill. And you can also add if you are backing him, because that was his first appearance in a Major League game since April 6, 2021. Crazy that he'd throw with that velocity, the Big Maple. Take it away.
Yeah, his name's Big fucking Maple for a reason. He's the real deal James Neal, honestly. I think he's good. 98 from the left side. Marco Gonzalez, shout to Marco Gonzalez, got touched up by the Red Sox. A good friend of James Paxton as well from the olden days said that when Paxton's throwing this hard, he's like a top 5 lefty in baseball. I was like, okay, all right, sure. I like him a lot here, and I was pleasantly surprised what I saw. If he keeps throwing that hard, then the sky's the damn limit for James Paxton, and the Red Sox could end up having two of the better lefties in baseball in their rotation. And again, I'll keep saying it. Watch out for these Red Sox. They are becoming a good team. They are cutting the fat out of their squad, which is nice. I've mentioned many times that the Red Sox rotation was 7 starters for 5 spots. They already cut out Nick Pivetta, and my guy Corey Kluber pitches in this series, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was the next guy cut out of the fat. James Paxton's just good. Am I backing him here? I'm a little worried. I'm not going to lie. And it's not just because, well, it's not because of anything he's done. It's just because the Padres, we know that they've struggled all year offensively, but last month against lefties, 136 weighted runs created plus, and 138 plate appearances. Good, to say the least. I know that they're, dealing with some shit right now, like Manny Machado out with a hand fracture or whatever he has. And I'll need to double check lineups closer to first pitch, et cetera, but not expecting him to line up. So honestly, I like the Red Sox here a lot. I was a little scared to take the money line. So shout out to Nut Flush Allen. I'm going to be taking them team total over 3.5 minus 120. Blake Snell, all of Blake's numbers are good against the Red Sox, but those numbers are all from when he was in Tampa Bay under the watchful eye of all those guys. I know he pitched well against the Dodgers in his last 2 appearances. I do not really care about that because Dodgers against lefties haven't been that good, obviously improving, and it's a team in the rivalry. They always get up for that stuff. I just like the Red Sox here to get some runs. And, I'll just say this. I'm not a player prop guy. I don't bet them. It's kind of rare when I do. I just, I wouldn't hate or I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know what the props are. If you get like a plus 500 for Xander Bogaerts home runs, just bet it every game this series because I know he's going to hit a home run this series. You can feel that in the air. And all the pictures of Xander and Devers sitting next to each other talking, all that stuff are going to hurt my feelings. But I think the Red Sox come out there with a little bit of fire, a little bit of passion, win this game. And I'm just specifically targeting their team total over because I am a bitch.
Wow. Interesting. Yes, Vitalis, we have both shows going on at the same time. Daby Cab and Jose Bouquet will have their 11 a.m. start to say hey plays of the day. So there'll be heavy baseball coverage. They'll be sitting beside each other, which is when the shows are best. So yeah, so that'll be going on at the same time as the horse racing show. I can get you that Red Sox team total over 3.5 and minus 117. 64 Fahrenheit at Petco. 7.4 miles per hour left to right, slightly out. Goes down to 5.3 left to right. Line history wise, we have that's the total. Line history wise, we have Padres opening up minus 139. They're now minus 136. 3-cent move to the Red Sox. So a 3-cent move to the Red Sox. This total's gone from 8.5 down to 8. So a move to the under, 3-cent move to the Red Sox. You have to think that the market expects another nice performance from James Paxton. 58% of the tickets are on the Padres, but just 35% of the cash. That's interesting. Then you have 49% of tickets, 72% cash on the under. Snell, 1-5, 4.61 ERA, 1.54 WHIP. I told you, I thought his last 2 starts, even though if you've been betting on Snell each start, you're down big money. I thought his last 2 starts against the Dodgers were very impressive. He hasn't been great at home. 1-3, 4.22 ERA, 220 opponents batting average. The Red Sox rating lefties hard, 267, 773 OPS. Padres versus lefties, 256, 751 OPS. Red Sox bullpen, 3.97 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. While the Padres bullpen's been getting better and better. 3.53 ERA, 1.20 WHIP. Fernando Mendoza is on the Padres money line. Piker says Snell walks a lot, and the Sox are always near the top in walks taken. Robert Franklin is on the Red Sox. Jake Burns says Padre could hit the Royals. This team is nothing but a disappointment. Let's hear what Daby Cab has to say about this spot. Second to last game on our card, Red Sox Padres.
I know. I mean, the Padres been nothing but a disappointment. Like you said, I agree with that. They've got an abysmal 66 OPS over the last 7 days. They're a little bit better against lefties, though. They hold a 102 OPS against lefties in 2023. Right here, the current Padres are 21 for 72 against Paxton. Bogarts is 7 for 23 with 3 home runs, so that kind of supports what Jose was talking about there. Machado is 4 for 9. Even Odor is actually 7 for 20 here against him. And then on the other side, the current Red Sox, they have just 9 hits and 48 at bats against Snell. Turner is 3 for 20. Devers is 1 for 9. Verdugo is 1 for 5. I probably would lean San Diego here. I hate betting on a team that's due or should, but I do think they turn this corner sooner rather than later. And I think I like their chances here against Paxton. Maybe even a first 5 over in this spot, or maybe a San Diego team total over. I just don't like taking the team total over when they're at home because you want the full 27 outs. So yeah, that's where I'm looking at in this one.
I agree with Mr. Ellis Prophet that the first 5 is very interesting. I find it funny that Pinnacle keeps going from 4 to 4.5, 4 to 4.5. The fact that they just went back to 4.5 is strange. I would like to see what it is for the 4, just to give a better idea. So under 4 is plus 108 right now. So at 4, this over is being hit pretty hard at Pinnacle, clearly.
Makes sense.
But at 4.5, I can understand people liking the under. That's going to end up keeping me off of adding that under right now. Vital says, like I said, Snell been taking better's money, but knowing Snell, he will bite me and throw a no-hitter. Look, I've already said it. I don't need to repeat myself. I like what he did against Dodgers last 2 starts. Look, the Red Sox is getting sharp action. By the way, Jose, we found that team total over 3.5 for you at Pinnacle, minus 117.
Sounds good.
Is there
both
anything?
teams are good against lefties right now, so
They are. Yeah, no, I like that spot. I get it. Cab, is there anything you're going to make official here?
Nope.
All right, I would have moved on that first 5 under 4.5 or 4 or whatever if it didn't keep jumping up to 4.5 at Pinnacle. That does not bode well for me. So I'm off that. But Jose's on the Red Sox team total over 3.5. Jose, who is your guest on Say Hey Plays of the Day today?
Cotter Mack joins me. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Then, like Cabs alluded to, I'll make the trek up to Dallas. We'll be doing 2 shows back to back beside each other, Saturday, Sunday. And apparently we're joining the horses as well. So that'll be a whole lot of fun. I'll have anxiety of doing horse race calls beside someone. So someone has to look at me while I go insane for about 30 seconds or 2 minutes, however long horse races are. But it's going to be a whole lot of fun nonetheless. So I'll make sure to take a couple of showers because I apparently look like I stink with this jersey. But it is okay because the Celtics win tonight and everything will be back on the right world.
We will bring you back for the NBA breakdown because we have Brizzy ready to rock. Let's discuss this final game on the board, Daby Cab, and then we move on to NBA. 10:15 p.m. Eastern, Miami Marlins 23-21, 9-10 on the road at San Francisco Giants, 20-23, 13-10 home, Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. Sandy Alcantara versus Anthony Desclafani. I thought this was a very interesting game that I came close to. I wanted to move on, but just felt like things didn't line up perfectly for me. Let's discuss it right now. 57 Fahrenheit, 14.7 miles per hour to right center. The deepest part of the ballpark. The wind swirls. It's not a big deal. Dies down to 12.7. I don't care too much about it. Let's go over to the line history here for this one. I have the first 5 up. Let's get to the full game. Okay, here we go. So money line here to start. We've had a big move towards Alcantara and the Marlins. You know, that makes sense to me. Oh, I guess we haven't at Pinnacle. I take that back. That was books that came out before the 3:53 p.m. line drop at Pinnacle. At Pinnacle, there's been a 2-cent move. Wow. That means I have to check Bet Online here. I just need to make sure that there was a big move at some point. So let's go to Bet Online and see what they've done here for the Marlins. And yes, they opened it up, the Marlins, at plus 120. There was a 10-cent move 22 minutes later. And then an hour and 4 minutes after this line had moved, there had been a 15-cent move to the Marlins. Now actions come back on San Francisco, but so no move at Pinnacle, but a move at Bet Online. Let's take a look at the total here and what's going on there. We have this now at 7. I believe it opened at Pinnacle at 7. Let's find out. Yes, it opened up at 7, lasted there for 22 minutes before it moved to 7.5. So early move on the over, but it's back at 7. Still, there's been a 10-cent move to the over. So there's been a move to the over and a move to the Marlins. When we take a look at the cash flow, 51% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the San Francisco Giants. It's a lot of money on the Giants for a move to the Marlins. Then you have 55% tickets, 64% cash on the over. You see how this just doesn't really correlate at all for him. It makes things difficult. Very, very difficult. So let's break down the cast. Sandy Alcantara coming off an awful loss at home to the Reds. 7 2/3, but he allowed 6 earned runs, 9 Ks, and 2 walks. We know he's capable of greatness. Last year's Cy Young winner in the National League. He's been tough on the road, 18 innings, 6.50 ERA, 311 opponents batting average. Had a really tough time on the road, but you have to think this is a pitcher's park that would work perfectly for him. Going up against DeSclafani, who's been good this year, 3.06 ERA, 0.96 whip, coming off a 7-2 loss at Arizona, but he pitched fine, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. He actually hasn't been great at home. Last year, he was spectacular at home. This year, he's been better on the road. At home, 1-2 with a 4.44 ERA, 271 opponents batting average. Marlins rating just 240, 673 OPS versus righties. Giants much better, 244, 768. Marlins bullpen 4.27 ERA, 1.33 whip is disappointed, but not quite as disappointing as the Giants bullpen, 5.54 ERA, 1.49 whip. Take it away for us, Daby Cab. Our last game on the board, Marlins Giants.
Man, this year has been a head scratcher for me with Sandy, man. I think he turns the corner sooner than later, but like I said earlier, I don't like betting on like shoulds or, somebody who's due or something like that. I mean, obviously he's only going to be able to pitch better than he did last Saturday. When you look at the Giants, the current Giants here are 22 for 90 with 3 doubles and 5 home runs against Sandy. On the other side, the Marlins are 20 for 59 with a couple doubles and homers versus DeSclafani, who's yielded. He's given up the 8 runs on 15 hits over his previous 2 starts and only 12 innings. So he's been struggling as of late. But that's regression that I expected with him. I never thought he was going to keep going what he had going early on in the season. And you look over the last 10 days, the Marlins actually have posted a 109 weighted runs created plus against right-handed pitchers. Where on the other side, the Giants, they've only recorded a 90 weighted runs created plus against righties in that span. You look at the Marlins bullpen in that stretch, it's been good, a 3.21 ERA, 3-1 record, 3 saves. And San Francisco's bullpen's been decent, above average in that span, 3-2, 4 saves, a 4.42 ERA. I just think that Miami is just still the better team here. I lean Miami with Sandy. I haven't bet this one either.
Razor Sharp Picks is on Miami money line.
I like Miami in this one. Yep.
There's been a 10-cent move at Bet Online on Miami first 5. You're right. Like, why would I? I'm not going to sit here and, like you said, say, he's going to show out now. He's coming off a bad start. But if I had a free bet, I'd be on Marlins first 5. But I'm not going to go up against these huge bets on the other side with the Giants. So I will stay off last year's Cy Young Award winner. So this will be officially the least amount of action that myself and a guest have had on an MLB card, but I have no problem with that. You take what the league gives you, and it's all about winning and cashing. Nolino says Sandy had no business coming out in the 8th last time. 7 innings, pitched 3 earned runs was good enough. He's fine. Yeah, I think there's... Yeah, I get that. But I'm still not going to go up against the big bets on the other side. But I completely understand the spot you're in. I just trying to keep everything very clean. Let's review all action here. Daby Cab's on the Diamondbacks, first 5 minus a half of minus 106. Joe Yurkovich just moved with Jose on the Red Sox team, total over 3.5. Then Daby Cab's on the Rays, first 5 minus 1 at minus 105. Then we stay off the Yankees, Reds, Cubs, Phillies, Tigers, Nats. But I'm on the first 5 over 5 and the full game over 9 in Baltimore, Toronto. Let's just go back and see what that is right now. No, it hasn't moved. Still not moving. The first 5 is at 5.5 though, but it's plus 105 to the over. All right, over 5 and over 9. I'm on razor sharp picks also with Noli on the Marlins. Might be leaving money on the table in that spot, but it is what it is. Cleveland Mets. I had to stay off, unfortunately. Can't back Cookie here. Cab is on the Braves, first 5 minus 127. Rockies, Rangers, we are off. I'm going to be moving on the under 9 in Kansas City, Chicago White Sox. Greinke, Kopech, I'll be on the under 9 there. That's my only addition at this point. A's, Astros, no action. Jose's on the Cards, first 5 team total over 2.5, plus 121. The first 5 plus 105, and the full game plus 107. Gambler's first glance from Razor Sharp Picks is the Cardinals money line, but Ron Crawford on the other side. Dodgers minus 120. Twins, Angels stayed off. Jose's on the Red Sox team total over 3.5 minus 117, and we stayed off of Marlins, Giants. That is our MLB breakdown for today. Daby Cab will be back in action tomorrow on Say Hey Plays of the Day. He'll also be starring alongside Dutch Boy Fresh in tonight's NBA live bet stream. Miami Heat, Boston Celtics tonight.
Yeah.
At 8:15, I believe it's at 8:15. I think it is
8:15. Yeah, I'm gonna have action in that. I'm gonna have Brown over on his 3 props. I've been betting 3s props throughout this NBA playoffs, and I've been having some success. You know, I keep my action to a minimum, but the ROI has been nice, man. And shout out to Dutch, by the way, Jimmy. Any of you guys that haven't been tuning in on Monday mornings, right here, since Jimmy's not live, we go live with you guys. It's Medicaid Mondays. Right now, Dutch and myself through the first 3 episodes are 10-2. Jimmy, on bets we've given out on the show. So we're 10-2. And this week on Monday, Dutch gave out he gave out a winning bet on both NBA games, on both NBA playoff games, and he gave it out on the Nuggets when the number was at 5.5. That I think it tipped at 7 or something like that. You wouldn't have cashed if you got it at tip. The line he gave out on the show that was still available to everyone, pretty much everywhere, cash though. So like I said, we're 10-2. We like to have fun, and Big Happy is going to be making his return soon. So make sure and look out for that. Hashtag free Big Happy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Big weekend ahead of you in Dallas with the squad. So thank you for taking the time with us. Look forward to do this again with you 2 Fridays from now. Keep up the great work. Follow Daby Cab on Twitter at Daby Cab, and check him out tomorrow with Jose, as well as Sunday with Jose. You guys are going back to back, right?
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be right here. So,
and then
so
Monday
will be on the live stream tonight too, I guess, if he gets here in time.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Keep up the good work, my friend. Get that cash, and thank you for rolling with us. Any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
Oh man, we don't have anything without you guys, man. I love all you guys in the chat. I appreciate all the knowledge I share. I learn from you guys every single day, whether I'm up here or I'm just in the chat with you guys. You make me better cappers. You help my bank account. So for that, I fucking thank you, and I love you. I'll catch you guys soon.
There he is, Dabra Cadabra. We go from the diamond to the association. And speaking of 10-2, I'm 10-2 in my last 12 NBA picks. First half under, first half full game under, first half under, full game under, cash for us yesterday. And I'm starting to climb out of that horrific hole in NBA. And I couldn't do it without our guests, and we have a spectacular one who's helped very much moving me in the right direction. We have South Jersey in the house. Please welcome to the show, Getting Bills, Billy Brisbane. Brizzy, how are you, my man?
I told you I wasn't joking, Jim, when I said I wasn't a Sixers fan anymore. Day 2, not being a Sixer fan, we bought out the Celtics jerseys, and we wouldn't be right if we didn't bring out the GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend, Larry Bird.
Tell him, Billy.
Larry Bird in the building, baby. Let's shoot for some buckets today because last night we knew the buckets weren't going to fall, and we cashed on some unders last night. Honestly, probably the first under I played that wasn't a first half under in the Eastern Conference game and probably the whole entire playoffs, and it was beautiful.
It was a thing of absolute beauty. It was also a great opportunity for live betting.
I was fucking scared, man. Halfway through that first quarter, I was like,
the first quarter, I knew we were good. I knew we were good, but the first 9 minutes or 8 minutes,
yeah.
But I'm a cooler, man. I start walking around yelling at them for bricks, and I get yelled at by my wife for waking up the kids. But I start yelling for bricks, and they give me said bricks. It's
not even. We get the subs in, put in the Bruce Browns, the Dennis Schroeders of the world. Let those guys go shoot.
I loved it. It was very fun, and also I got a chance to live bet the Nuggets plus 3.5. Minus 105. That was all very, very, very enjoyable.
It's a different weird type of day though, where I feel like I'm bringing the ingredients to the table. I need you to chef it up, cook it up, and let's win some tickets. Because I haven't placed anything officially yet, but I have some very hard leans and money loaded up on my FanDuel account to make these bets official.
No. You're getting a little bit of flack. I have my Paul Pierce jersey right over there, but I can't rock it because I got the green screen behind me. But I could. I'll be thinking of my Paul Pierce jersey right over there. Let's get to work. Game 2 of the East Finals. Miami Heat at Boston Celtics. Celtics were 32-9 at home during the regular season. They certainly do not have that home record in the playoffs. The Heat were 17-24 on the road during the regular season. Again, they certainly do not have that record in the playoffs. The series is being played one game at 97 possessions a game. We've talked often about the Heat being the only team in the playoffs whose pace has gone up. They're faster than the regular season, and they're playing at exactly the pace that's being played in this series. The playoffs, the Heat have played 97.03 possessions a game. This game one was played at 97 possessions. The Celtics have slowed down in the playoffs, and they're playing at the same pace as they have in the playoffs in the series in game one. Let's take a look at the line history and then the cash, set a table, and then cap this together. First off, let's move over to the line history here for this one. And we heard that there were 10s on the board. I do not see 10s, but we certainly see 9.5s. Pinnacle opened this up at 8.5. It lasted at 8.5 for 1 minute. 1 minute before it moved to 9. Then it lasted at 9 up until 20 minutes ago when it moved to 9.5 over at Pinnacle. Let's take a look at the total here. This total opening up at, let me go over to Pinnacle and get their numbers. Pinnacle is moving the quickest towards the over in this one. So Pinnacle opened this up at 223.5. They're now at, Jesus, I'm looking at the Lakers game. My bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was confused for a second. I was like, wait, where are we going with this?
My bad. Sorry. Pinnacle opened this up at 215. They're now at 215.5. There are some books, some dice books hanging 216, no legit books, but they're the highest total at 215.5. So let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. Cash flow. Let's go. We have the 46% of the tickets and 69% of the cash is on the Boston Celtics. 28% of tickets and 82% cash on the under, yet it's gone up a half point. We're going to set a table, but let's bring on your next guest. Very proud of his Boston Celtics continuing this role that may end up in the NBA Finals, yet they are down 1-0 in this series. Please welcome the host of Say Hey Plays of the Day, Jose, my tits are bleeding Bouquet. Jose, how are you?
I'm great. I didn't hear no bell after the first game. I ain't hear no bell. I'm ready to fight.
No, I hear you. Lizzo wasn't singing. The series is on.
She was.
Boston. There's nasty Nate in the house. So you have backup.
Sure.
Nate is in the house.
Billy's on our side too now.
The Celtics lose game 1. They lost last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, game 1. Miami looked very strong. That was such a dominant third quarter. It's pretty clear who the best player on the floor is. Now, that's just one game, and that must change. But right now, Jimmy Butler looks spectacular. 35 points, 7 assists, 6 steals, 5 rebounds. He was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Bam went for 28. Tatum went for 30 points, but disappeared completely in the fourth quarter. 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter. Didn't attempt a single shot. Brown went for 22 and 9. He has to be better. Billy Friedrich on the first half over 110. We'll start with Brizzy. And let me say, Brizzy, that yesterday we both knew we wanted the under. I don't feel that way.
I don't feel the same.
Now, we see the sharp money on the under, but let's let Brizzy break it down for us here. East Finals Game 2, Heat Celtics. Brizzy, take it away.
Yeah, I could only really lean Boston here in this spot, hence the jersey. Home favorites in Eastern Conference are 21-10 ATS off a loss. Boston this postseason's 4-1 ATS off a loss. So I expect Boston to bounce back here. I mean, Miami shot far from expectation in game 1, 65% efficiency from the field goal, but that was only supposed to be expected 50.8% from the field goal range, which is drastic difference from their 54.5 expected field goal range throughout the postseason so far. So Miami should feel fat and happy after doing their job winning the game in Boston. So I kind of went a different route with this one. I went towards FanDuel Sportsbook. Haven't placed a bet yet. We'll place it in a couple of minutes, but the first half try bets here for the Boston Celtics, -3.5, -160. The same home Game 2 down 0-1 trends apply to the first half as well. The home team is 5-1-1 straight up in the first half in this spot this postseason with an average win margin of 11+ points. 4 of the home teams were up by double digits at the half, and 2 of them were up by 20+ points. So, I mean, Boston's first half rating progressively has gotten better from the regular season at 9.2% to plus 10.5% in the playoffs, while Miami's net they have a net negative rating in the first half of the playoffs so far. So I feel like Miami had a great second half in game 1, but let's not forget how it started. Boston was up by 9 points at half with their backs against the wall. I expect them to show up a little bit here. We talked a little bit about the over-under. The Celtics showed up. If they show up defensively, I think these games are going to go a little bit different. The Heat took 51% of their shots from the mid-range and 16% at the rim and 33% from deep. Where Boston lost game 1 was the Heat hit 55% of their threes and 57% of non-corner threes, which is the easiest shot in the NBA to hit. So they're hitting everything. Those numbers are definitely due to regress. And the Celtics took 33% from deep, 25% at the rim. So I tend to lean towards the under in theory, but I'm going to stay off due to the fact that the Eastern Conference unders in game 3 and on are such a strong trend. But there are some good, strong trends for the under today. Since 2003, teams that shot better than 50% from three-pointer in their previous game have saw the under go 127, 97, and 11 in the following game, so hitting at 55.3%. Boston tends to respond to losses, especially defensively. Opponent team totals are 10-4 to the under following a Boston loss in a playoff game over the past 2 seasons. But the Heat offensively, their numbers weren't really that impressive. They scored 14 points out of isolation. 9 of those 14 points were from Jimmy Butler. So without the pick and roll, you're basically gambling on the Heat to hit 3-point shots in this game. So my favorite player prop of the day, though, is going to be Derek White over 8.5 points. Adjustments will be made, and the first one will be the Celtics not starting Robert Williams. He finished game 1 with a -14 plus-minus rating in only 25 minutes of action. The Celtics are going to go small. Derek White picked up 4 quick fouls in his first 9 minutes of action in the last game, but still found a way to score 11 points in just 20 minutes in 5 games versus the Heat so far this year. He scored 10 points, 15 points, games, 13 points, 23 and 11. He's cleared over 8.5 points in 25 out of his last 30 games when playing 20-plus minutes. And prior to Robert Williams starting in Game 5 in the Sixers series, he was averaging 31 minutes and 14.1 points throughout his playoff series so far. So I'm going to fire up some Derek White props in the Boston first half. How are you feeling about it?
The more we talk about it, and that was a great breakdown. First off, Derek White over 8.5 points. What's the juice?
Minus 125.
Minus 125. So that's your official spot thus far. Your loan's official spot. Well, I can't. I can't bet the over. And with 72% of tickets on the over and just 18% of the cash, I just can't be on that side. I understand a lot of you guys are, but this run that I've had coincided with me completely staying off games. And, I have experts come on, give out action, and I can just sit back. And so at this point, if I don't have the sharper, bigger bets on my side, now the market is going up. The total is going up. So that makes you think that, they're just opening up their arms to under cash. And a lot of us cashed the under yesterday, and so maybe there's a bias in play. But Sky Dragon saying what to do with Miami. I can understand this being this is a tricky spot here. Billy Friedrich says Zach Zarba, ref crew chief tonight. 4 playoff games. Teams have averaged a total of 243.5 points. Other refs tonight, James Williams, 8 games, 234.5, and Tyler Ford, 238 and a third. The 238.3. Let's hear what Jose Blood on My Tits Bouquet has to say about this spot. Game 2, Heat Celtics. How are you betting this?
Celtics smash. Shot to Nasty Nate. Celtics second quarter would be my play. 9 is obviously a lot of points, so no thanks. Celtics second quarter for me there. The only play I'll be making official. I believe in the Celtics. They just have to be assholes and go down and have a little bit of sweat on them to play. We're all like this, like in school, wait until the last second, procrastinate on your papers to feel that sweat so you can get it working again. That's what the Celtics are, essentially. They're a bunch of assholes. They need to get down so they play well. Very predictable loss there, even though I did lose on a triple up, whatever. 2.5 minus 115 for the Celtics second quarter. I believe in the Boston Celtics. They win this game. I even looked at their series price. It's still minus 200. I was disappointed about that. But, Celtics win the series still in 5 games. Or 6 games, actually. I'll be nice. I think the Heat win 1 in Miami. But the Celtics are just a good road team as well. So like Billy said, Miami lets off the gas here. They lose this game. They lose game 3. And then from there on, we'll see what happens.
By the way, looking at the futures market, the cappers that are still high on the Lakers, plus 850 now to win the NBA championship. They're going up to plus 850. To win the series, plus 350 for the Lakers. And the Celtics are minus 230, even though they're down 1-0. Jake Crick, we have cappers in the chat dropping horse action, but we are going to be all day Saturday starting at 10:15 a.m. So here we go. After all of this talk, Tori Coker says you are crazy. The Heat going to win this title. Billy Friedrich saying the Heat at plus 200 to win the series. Yeah, plus 190 is pretty wild. And there's Son Dizzle in the house. Dizzle, it has been too long, man. Great to see you back in action. And he is hoping Denver takes care of business so he can go to an NBA Finals game. Wouldn't that be magic? And I do have the Nuggets just at plus 230, unfortunately. Gamblers first glance at NBA Razor Sharp picks is on Boston minus 9. What do you think, Billy Brisbane, after all of this? Because I get nervous with Jose's Celtics second quarter minus 2.5 just because I feel like the Celtics are going to show out right off the hop. And if they do that, that makes the second quarter nerve-wracking. I know that you have written your script for the game, and that's the Heat look strong early. But that that's my concern there, which actually kind of leads me to a Celtics first quarter bet. But my ROI on first quarters, 2.5 or higher, are bad.
I don't blame you, Jim. I feel like if you just don't bet first quarters in the playoffs, and your ROI just goes up tremendously.
I just anything over minus 2.5 or higher. Historically, I have a negative ROI, so I
Unless
stopped
it's
doing it.
Denver in the first quarter, I'm not betting it.
So at this point, I don't have any action here. Is there anything you want to add now, Billy? Or are you going to wait a little bit of wait and study it throughout the day?
I want to add this first half try bet. People are asking me why did I buy it down. Hey, if they're offering it, why not take it?
Nice job, Kenny V's. The pick 3 gave it a Gulfstream on its last leg with the 5 singled. I love that. So, what is the number that you want here for the first half?
Minus 160 first half try. Minus 3.5.
Minus 3.5. Let me just see if I can beat that here. So let's get over here to this magic spot. Or sorry, this heat spot. So
they have that on Bet365, right?
Wow, they're only letting you go to minus 4 at Pinnacle. They'll definitely have it at Bet365. Here, let's see what they have for you here. Alternative first half point spread. Yes. No. Oh, wow. What dicks. No, they're not offering the 3.5.
This shit is moving. It's only on FanDuel then because they literally have it listed as first half try.
All right. So what is it? Minus 3.5. First half minus 3.5 at what number?
Minus 160.
Because they have. That's interesting that they're not offering it. I always find that so interesting because they're offering the 2.5 at 240 and the 4.5 at minus 175. But the
get this bet in now because this bitch is moving.
Wow. All right. So Billy on Celtics first half minus 3.5 here.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm buying it down is because if they're offering it, I might as well just pay the juice. I mean, MMA, we're getting in the MMA mood for tomorrow. So juices. What's a little bit of juice if it's a winner?
The juice is loose, man. Tori Coker says no respect for the Heat, just like no respect for the Panthers. But yet they keep winning and winning. So keep betting Boston and Carolina and losing your money, says Tori Coker.
It's similar to the Sixers series in the last series when me and Jose were talking about it, and the Sixers got absolutely blown out in the second game because they didn't care. They already won.
Yeah, maybe the 76ers should care about winning all the games too. But I'll say Tori Coker said the same shit last year. I distinctly remember saving all your comments, Tori. So we'll see. We'll see, Tori.
I love Tori. I love Kevin with Tori. Great job, you guys. It looks like this is, you know what? It's fine. A quiet night, just me and capping horses all night long is very, very fine.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
You're so disrespectful, man. How are you going to disrespect the women of the world, man? WNBA opening tip-off is tonight. You're not going to get a little bit of action, a little quick WNBA swap for the slate for the people out there in the world?
I'd love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
We got the New York Liberty versus the Washington Mystics. Elena Deladon, the absolute star stud. This line was actually pretty interesting because it actually opened up as the Mystics minus 3.5, and immediate action came in on the Liberty, who are the highest team for the future bets, and they became the 3.5 point favorite. Now there is a little bit of buyback action into the Mystics. Ultimately, a little stay off game for me. So then the Connecticut Indiana Fever games, the second game, that total opened up at 159, moving up to 161. I would bet the over in that game. Both of those two teams have new coaches that are going to employ a fast pace. Chicago Sky versus Mystic Link. That game's more of a stay-off game for me. And then the last game of the night is the ESPN game at 11 o'clock. Phoenix Mercury versus the LA Sparks. I got to lean towards the Mercury. Plus 1.5 here, and I will be betting the money line for Phoenix Mercury. Give me Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi in their first game back in LA, in crypto arena.
So what are you making official here for us?
Phoenix Mercury money line and the over 161.5 in Connecticut Sun Indiana Fever.
Well, I can do better. I can get you the Mercury. You can have +2 at -110 or money line +109.
I'll take the +2 just to be safe.
Okay, so then Mercury +2 at -110. And then we have the Sun Fever over 160.5. That does cost 5 cents, though.
I'll take the 5 cents. We'll take the 5 cents.
Connecticut, Indiana, over 160.5 at -115. All right, you got it. So Brizzy's 2 first official WNBA picks here on the board. We'll track his action throughout the season. So Brizzy, yeah, if you want to drop WNBA when you come on the show, that would be great. Dennis, you're right. My problem is I don't know when there's a big tennis tournament going on.
Monday.
That's my fault. So if there's ever, we could get Sammy Comer or Sharpie or even Ant, a Prince of the City, to get one of you guys to come up here in cap tennis. I'd be all over that. I don't just because I don't like it and my son will never play it doesn't mean that we don't have to talk about it. Right?
It's amazing that Carter's already playing soccer. Dude can barely I feel like he can barely walk, and now he's out there kicking up soccer ball. This is ridiculous.
Oh, he's fast runner and he kicks ass. We call him the crybaby bully.
Why the crybaby bully? That's a weird dynamic of names.
He'll punch you in the face and he'll cry about it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll get you. He'll punch you. He'll hurt you, but he'll also cry.
I can't wait. I hope we get some footage of Carter throwing some bows at soccer soon.
Sky Dragon says Roland Garros is like next week. So yeah, you guys we got it. You guys
some Roland Garros.
You guys want to talk rich people sports? Let's do it. Let's do it. Maybe some polo. Get some polo.
Water or horse?
Horse. I'm not talking about water.
Well, no, don't you talk shit about water polo. That's the hardest sport in the world. You'll get fucking drowned out there if you ain't fucking around.
Jim's like, we're talking about WNBA, we're talking about tennis. Shit, bring them all.
No, definitely. So I'll talk to Sharpie and see if he can come on. And anybody want to give me a heads up when there is tennis? And,
I'm still waiting for Sky Dragon to come on screen and give us some curling action.
We call it Bonspiel.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It's curling.
That's the first Canadian word I've ever heard of in my life. Besides A, obviously.
What did Goji call that dude at the restaurant? What did he say? Oi or
buddy,
something like
buddy.
He said buddy.
Yeah.
Dude got pissed. He was like, wait, I'm not your buddy.
Oh yeah.
I'm not your buddy bag, whatever the fuck. I can't even speak. Sorry, Razor's comments are rattling me, obviously.
Dude, that shit was
Bongspiel is on vacation, and we'll see him in October. I've tried to get Dennis Garcia to come on screen with me. He won't, Jimmy. He says that he'll only come on screen with you. And I'm like, wow, that's fucked up, DG. I thought we had all these moments together, and he just spits in my face.
I just want him happy and capping with us. So if he prefers to be in the chat, obviously I want him on screen. But if he prefers to be in chat, it's all good.
He runs, Jimmy. He's a runner. Look at him. How many gamblers are runners?
He's a runner. He's a track star.
Yeah, we tend to die young, us cappers. So
exactly. So DG's gonna outlive us all, saying the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in hockey, and then fucking cash all of his under props for the NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs. So shout out to him.
Yes, shout out to him. Let's review all action. Stay on here with us, Jose, as we put a bow on this. Same with you, Brizzy. Brizzy gave us in WNBA the Mercury +2 and Connecticut, Indiana over 160.5 at -115. Razor Sharp Pick says Nurse to the Sixers is coach, and DG will have interest in the Sixers next year. So will I, if that's the case. Then BJ's NBA best bet, putting 4 units on the Celtics -6.5. Billy's on Derek White over 8.5 points -125. If he wants to tweet anything out and tag me, that will become official in NBA. Razor Sharp Picks, Gambler's First Glance, Boston -9. Jose's on the Celtics second quarter -2.5. Nasty Nate says he's been cashing with that heavily, and he has an alternate line on Celtics first half -3.5. Daniel's son DD play of the day. Reds first 5 plus 144. 3-0 this season. I love it, Daniel Son.
What does DD mean, Daniel? Son, are you designated driving? I'd love to know that.
It is. And North End are respecting Sky Dragon for running. Sky Dragon says if Nurse coaches the Sixers next year, he'll be the one losing Sixers championship futures. Yeah, I'd like to start running again, but
by the way, DG just ignored all of that talk. He's like, "Fuck you guys, whatever." Just ignored all.
Sky Dragon says he doesn't run. Who said that? We remember, DG. Don't try
DG. Don't lie to us, DG.
We know.
Don't fucking try that bullshit.
we know, DG. We remember when you were out for a jog. Don't mess with us. That shit is ingrained in our memory because you're the only one who's ever said it. Okay. In NHL, I'm on the Stars plus 105 money line. In MLB, we have Cabby on the Diamondbacks, first 5 minus a half, minus 106. There's Jarek White in the house. What up, Jarek? Great to see you. Respect. Great to have Jarek rolling with us. Okay, so Dabby's on the Diamondbacks, first 5 minus a half. The Rays, first 5 minus 1. He's also on the Braves, first 5 minus 127. I doubled up on the Orioles, Jays, over 5, first 5 and over 9, full game. It's 9.5 and 5.5 now, but I'd sure be more comfortable if it was juiced to the over in those 2 spots. And then my only other spot is putting lipstick on this pig. Royals, White Sox, under 9. That's it for me in MLB. Jose's on the St. Louis Cardinals, first 5 team total over at plus 2.5 at plus 121. Full game plus 105. Full game plus 107, first 5 plus 105. Gambler's first glance is the Cardinals money line at plus 110. Jose's also on the Red Sox team total over 3.5 minus 117. Joe Yurkovich ran with that. Now, it is time for me to cash my overs and my under. Cash the Stars, but it's horses for me nonstop. The only thing I'll be thinking about is our equine athletes, our thoroughbreds, these muscular chestnuts with big asses.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you going to be on the right side of history, Jimmy? Are you going to bet on the Venezuelans?
Yes.
All right. That's all I needed to know.
Yes, I am. It's pretty simple now with first mission out. I will single Mage in the Preakness and have everything wrapped around Mage.
But another question. Does our guy Clyde have any horses in the field this year?
He does not at Pimlico, but at Woodbine. And he has some 6-1, 7. By the way, he's the leading trainer at Woodbine.
Hell yeah, Clyde.
He is winning at 40% and cashing in the top 3 at 68%.
It's my guy. Shout out to Clyde Drexler.
So, yes, we are going to be drinking, celebrating horses. We'll be here for 12 hours tomorrow. There'll be baseball as well. And then our UFC show will start as well. I cannot wait. There's truly nothing I'd rather be doing than boozing with the squad, betting horses for 12 hours.
Yep.
There it goes.
That's a lot of time.
Razor says that just shows how easy it is to win at Woodbine or at Gulfstream. Just how easy it is when you juice the horses. Let's put a bow on this show. Thank you guys so much. So we're looking at our second. If we have a winning day today, it's our second straight week sweep. Our second straight week sweep. I think it's very impressive, and I want to keep it going. And it's not being massive days. Our first week that we swept was the biggest week I've had all year. That was 3 weeks ago. And then we only had the 2-show week because of the Derby, and my daughter had a dental issue. And then we swept last week, and we're about to sweep this week. Joe Yurkovich says, has anyone ever won big on these horse shows? Yes, all the time, every show.
Buddy, let me tell you. Yeah.
You not know who Kate Reed is?
Do you not know who Jimmy the Bag is? Do you not know who Dirk Nowitzki is?
We cashed the 35-1, Joe, on my best bet last week. 35-1. We all everybody who bet it made over a K on that race. But Razor Sharp picks time and time again has had huge, massive scores. Nobody cashes as often and as big as Razor. And then the Montana Chicken Chaser does a spectacular job as well. And the Cappers in the chat do a great job. I've never been more consistent than I have been of late. and it makes me very, very excited. All right, I got to run and I got to go pick up Ella. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Jarek White, Billy Friedrich, Razor, Andrew G, Real Deal Prime, Joe Yurkovich, Danny Lopez, Bo Jackson, Sean Pulliam, Tori Coker, Danielson, Coin, Mally, Mal in the house. Thank you guys. Truly, Sky Dragon, all of you, BJ, Billy Friedrich, Nasty Nate, A, Yo, D, Kenny V. We have nothing without you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Troy Torrance, Morgan Spooner, all of you. Thank you. Oh, no, I know you weren't implying that. But, yeah, no, there's lots of big scores. We've as a group, we've never been better than where we are right now. Jose, thank you for all your hard work. Good luck in your show today. Keep winning and stacking and climbing out of that hole. We love watching. It's very impressive. Take care of those blood-infused tits of yours, and safe travels up to Dallas. Brizzy, thank you for coming here on short notice. Can you tell us a little bit about your podcast that you recorded yesterday? And then can you please put a bow on this show with a little caliente leche?
Yeah, make sure you head over to iHeartRadio.com and search Pub Sports Radio. And you see me, Mills, and Big Show talking about the fights for UFC Vegas 75. And usually we have a guest on. We didn't have a guest on this week, but make sure you guys tune in. We had Slaughter on the week before, Preston the other week prior. So we'll have some more guests from Pub Sports Radio that you usually don't see on air. But milk those bookmakers. Right.